This meeting is being recorded.
Ah! Not my phone.
What happened there?
Dropped my phone. I was
Oh.
watching. Wait, I'm trying to pause the wrong thing. I was trying to pause it up here. I was watching this climate change and human behavior dating and Vedantic perspective. That's what I watched the first part of that yesterday, or at least I think I did. Too. Yeah. Oh yeah, I do remember them. You know, I thought it was interesting that they seem to have reverence for the environment. You know, like in some ways seemed like the Native Americans in a way, because I don't know of any other culture did that, but you know, like they would honor the sacrifice of the animal, you know, just like when they say before they cut down a tree, they'd say, "Oh, thank you," you know, and for your sacrifice. And I can't remember all the other, you know, and then talk about how, well, you know, the truth, like science says, you know, it disrupts all the bugs that live there, the birds that live there. So, you know, it's quite the sacrifice. So, anyway,
oh yeah.
I found that interesting because I am kind of I like nature. You know, I think, whatever. I just do.
No, I understand.
Man, it is so warm outside today. I can't believe how warm it is.
Is it?
It's like, I could take off my jacket and walk around, and I usually just wear my jacket all the time, indoors even. So
Global warming.
yeah, well, it's fucking warm.
Global warming.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like, man, it's so nice outside.
Whatever.
Should have a meeting out there. Yeah, my granddaughter's in a good mood today.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did she say why?
Huh? No.
Did she say why?
No, she just is, I guess.
Oh.
Just in a good spirit today. She seems to have been, I don't know. Maybe it's just me seeing it different, but it seems like there's something easier there between me and her these days. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You want to keep that going? Well,
definitely. I mean, it was shaky there for a bit, but I don't know. I think part of it's, you know, like I tried to tell him, you know, I know I'm not perfect, you know, and I definitely, you know, everybody can, it's easy to find fault. It really is. I mean, if you want to look for faults, they're easy to find, I think, in people.
there's also a chance to improve. If you want,
Yeah.
well, you can improve anyway. Even though
Yeah.
it really may not be happening, but you can still do it anyway.
Yeah, right. When you said that, oh man, reminded me of meditation. And when Paul was saying about our people, not just Paul, but other people have said it, or there's a saying, whatever, that what is I think it's Paul who says it. I hear it the most anyway from him is don't seek what you are, or is it the other way around? Yeah.
I'm talking about if
Don't
you study what you're not.
yeah,
We can
study
study
what
what
you're
we're not.
not. And
We can
you
study
know,
what
I
we're
was like,
not. We can know what we're not. We can
and
follow
that
what we're not.
and for a moment, you know, when I was trying to have a moment of just, you know, meditative or whatever, contemplating, whatever it is, you know, just a moment of sitting there, observing what's going past all this, is that seemed to make sense for a moment, you know, to not seek what you, to look for what you're not what you are. But then, you know, that gets clouded by a bunch of crap too. So it's not really a clear,
Turns out,
because how, if you don't
that,
know what you are, how do you know what the frick you're not? I mean,
well, it turns out that you're not the meditator as well. You refer to meditation. Who's a meditator? There it is. That one's
who is it? The
that's off the board too.
machine. But isn't it just the body, mind, action figure just
Get involved.
calming down? It's still just a bunch of nothing, really?
It's getting involved in something else. It might be.
No.
It might be getting involved in another teaching. Because
Yeah.
that's what those guys are. The guy with the Vedic Vedanta, you know, the Vedanta
Yeah.
society and all that. That's
Yeah.
a society. It's obvious a society. So
It says society.
yeah, well that's what it is.
Yeah.
And
And
so
what does that
he's
imply,
part of it.
though?
That's what he does. He's part of it.
What does that mean, though? Is a society? That's the way of life, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Mm.
He's part of that Advaita society, that Advaita Vedanta, and that's what he follows. That's what he believes, and that's what he's going with. So if he believes that, then that's what he's doing. I don't know if he'll even admit it, but he may even say that he recognizes that there is no society and there really isn't. But see, that's the radical non-duality again, see?
Yes.
But that's what I like to follow. I like to follow the radical non-duality because I feel that's where we're going to find it all ends and begins.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's true. I think you're right. It's, I don't know. It's just, it's just, there's nothing there. It's very, hard to grasp. It's hard to grasp. And then, you know, when you say there's nothing there, there's nothing there, there's nothing here and there. And then there's this other part that has to give some little comfort to, oh no, but there's also something. Because the cup's not only empty, it's full, you know, it's like, but then there's no cup. So the empty full cup.
You said it before I did. I was about to tell you there's no cup. There's not even a cup.
See what I
It
mean?
doesn't matter if it's full or empty or half full or half empty. But there is no cup. When you don't have a cup, you don't have to worry about it being full or empty. Yeah, it just appears to be what's happening. I'm going to go with that. I can't find anything else that seems to fit, seems to make sense. It's not even supposed to make sense to anybody, really.
True, huh?
But
see, and that's the part that gets me sometimes.
Yeah.
When you're talking about it doesn't make sense. So that's, I was going through this whole, I mentioned earlier, I was going through this process watching Emerson and how it just, you know, I felt like I had, huh?
Unfold.
yeah, and it just didn't like
It
the
unravels, it unfolds that way. It unravels with him like that.
and then I was forced to see that, all these things that I experienced are just a story too,
Mm-hmm.
even in the
Exactly.
high-minded spiritual, oh, I felt the closest to the whatever I've ever been, the truest self I've ever
There,
been. It's still just a
there isn't that.
story. It's
That's
still
the
just a
story.
story. I
They're
know I
all
didn't
stories.
like that. I
All of
didn't
it.
like that. It was hard to handle
Yeah,
when I first heard it.
it's okay. But
I
then
mean,
you're okay with it, though.
yeah, it's like it's a bitter pill sometimes.
That's all right. Once you come to terms with all of it, it'll continue to fall away, and then it'll get easier. It will. It'll get easier. The dream will be happier, as Paul says. The dream gets happier.
Huh?
The more you delve into this message, the more you allow to be whatever's going to apparently appear to happen. Just allow it to continue, because let it flow through you. And you allow it to all flow through you, try not to control it, try not to do anything with it. And then you'll notice how easier
Oh,
life becomes, because then it begins to just simply flow. And then you start feeling the flow.
you
And in a
know, I
sense, you start going with it. Yeah.
you know why I sit
Mhm.
like this, right? Because I can't not sit like
Yeah.
this. Okay. I was just
I
wondering.
understand.
I don't mean to always be looking. I mean, if I'm comfortable, this is comfortable for me. So it
Uh-huh.
looks like I'm not. I'm just kind of like whatever the fuck I'm doing. But
Okay.
it's like this is how I'd have to sit to, and then it's very weird feeling for me because I'm actually like this. I don't know if you could see that. So it's like
Uh-huh.
this is like this for me, but then my head goes like that. So anyways, it used to be really bad. Remember I told you I was like
Oh, yeah.
I was all fucked up. Or this body was.
Your
That's for sure.
bendability wasn't that bendable. Yeah, you couldn't bend that much. Yeah.
Now I still now I've got rods and screws and everything, so it's
But,
like I can't bend anyway. Getting into my car, it's it's
yeah.
I have to when I sit down I have to go like this because
Uh-huh.
I can't move. This is me moving my head, so
But at least you still have mobility, though. At least you still
yeah,
have mobility.
some, yeah.
Just think if you couldn't move the way you're moving now, at least you can move.
I know.
So
Like
yeah,
things could be different. That's for
there you
sure.
go. I mean, it could be a lot worse. So just look
I
at
could have.
count your
Yeah.
blessings, I suppose you could say. That's what I always used to say. I still say it. And
You
there is still things being said to the body mind. I even tell myself a lot of things that I used to tell it before, and I'll say it again. But um, what's different now is that I can't go back to being it anymore, because I never was being it. See, so it's so funny, because now there's a recognition that I'm not really an individual. I'm not really separate. I'm not separate from everything else. And that right there is news. That's good news to me. I think I would say it's good news to anybody else. That might seem weird, strange, or unusual, but I find comfort in that, uh, because I'm just allowing whatever's going to appear to happen and let it happen. And so far, whatever's happening is fine. I don't
still
even have
here.
to. Yeah, I'm still around. I'm still showing up.
Yeah.
If I'm showing up, well, I might as well do something. I might as well continue to share this message, and
That's
talk about, yeah, and talk about and discuss this subject. And this is the best subject I can think of. I can't think of any other subject I'd rather talk about.
yeah,
Because
huh.
to me, well, there it is, to me again. See, but to that me, this is the hottest topic going on
Yeah.
right now is non-duality. Non-duality is a big subject
Doesn't seem to be much
now.
interest in for me. I don't care about the news. It just seems like a bunch of hogwash, you
Yeah,
know, a bunch
yeah,
of I don't even know what to call it. Headlines. Get
Yeah,
it?
fake news,
Stories. Shit.
fake news.
Just crazy. It's not even important. It's not in front of me. You know what I mean? It's not here. Anyway, sorry.
That's a very good point you're making. It's so true. Whatever is not immediately affecting us, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. All of it, all of that doesn't matter. We'll just let it
Get
go.
get worked up and have a bunch of emotions, thinking stuff, and it really does
Yeah.
take us, away from that moment and puts you into like a past or a present, or not a past, present, a future or a past, because you're like thinking outside of now. I guess does
Thoughts
that
are
make?
always
Huh?
thoughts are always trying to place us into what's not happening. That's what's
Yeah.
going on with that. Yeah. This that parasitic movement Paul talks about. The parasitic movement, the parasite, the yeah, the self, the selfie,
So Paul,
trying to get us trying to get
Richard,
us all involved in the future or future plans, things like that. What's not happening.
yeah.
I'll just deal with what is going on, what is happening, whatever apparently appears to happen. That's what's really happening.
There's probably so
There
much more happening than I really realized too, huh? I mean, it
not
seems
really isn't.
there
There really
isn't.
isn't a damn thing going on. Really, there's nothing going on.
So it is
Really,
as boring as it seems. It's not just my imagination. I
no,
mean,
it's not really boring. It's not even boring either.
it could all
Uh,
a big appearance could make shit shake up, but I wouldn't want that either. Yeah,
yeah, well, you
like an
see,
earthquake or
it's
that would.
neither boring. It's neither boring or exciting. It's neither.
Mm,
Uh, it's just what is, whatever appears to happen.
yeah,
It has to be good enough. And if it's not, well, that's well,
that's not
you know,
anybody's problem.
yeah. If
I
you
mean,
want it to be a problem, you can take it on if you want to.
yeah, put it in your
I mean,
little cabinet.
nobody's going to stop you from doing that if you find that to be a doing. So if you want to entertain what's not happening, what hasn't happened yet, well, you can entertain that if you want. Or if
Yeah,
you delve
maybe.
in the past, you can delve in the past and bring that up again and repeat it again over and over. But
That's what I'm trying
um,
to tell myself with this trip to Italy is
yeah,
not to put pressure on it. Just keep going with it. If it's meant to or meant to, I don't know if that's even a thing, but if it
mm,
arises, great. If
yeah,
not, then I guess that's great too, right? Because
yeah.
that's the way it went. I mean, I don't
That's
know.
right.
I
No, it's
just,
true.
yeah.
That's true. However, it's going to unfold. It will unfold the way it was meant to unfold. We won't
Yeah.
know yet. So why worry about tomorrow if it hasn't even happened yet? So uh, just go with each moment.
Yeah.
Each moment we can plan for. That's good enough. And the past, well, that's fine. If it already happened, seemed to appear to happen, that's fine. It did. And then we
Apparently.
go on and
I'll
continue to
agree
go
with
on.
that. I agree with that. It apparently appeared to happen. I can digest that.
Yes, yeah, you can digest it. And you can even lull over it if you want. You can go over it again. We could just go over the past few hours that have went by, and we could go with that if we want and discuss
What's
that.
funny is
Yeah.
sometimes that is funny. It's like things transpire and it's
Mhm.
I looked at our video and it was like 5 hours and I was like, Jesus, how 5 hours? That doesn't feel like it was 5 hours. I mean, to me it doesn't, but wow, 5 hours.
I'm falling asleep after the third hour. I'm trying to watch it all. I'm trying to stay up and watch the whole thing, but well,
It's
find
interesting,
myself
huh?
slipping away. But it's there.
Yeah.
It's there for people to see. You're going to view it and Take
Who
whatever
knows? Yeah.
what out of it. Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe it'll resonate with somebody, right?
it might. It might resonate.
If not, oh well. Guess that's that too.
Yeah, well, there's resonations of all types, aren't there? What is resonating anyway?
I was talking in a breakout room, and there was a couple people that I thought were. There's just a lot of good people, to be honest. At least in the groups. I don't mean to bring up. I probably already brought it up once, but there was somebody, or it was brought up. There was somebody that there was a meeting, one of Paul's meetings, and did I mention this about how somebody asked a person about, hey, what is that drink you got? Right? I mean, it looked like a nice cold drink. It looked like a nice drink. I mean, and I don't. So anyways, he just asked, what's that? What drink you got? What the fuck business of yours, or mind your own fucking business, or none of your, just really. And it was just like, wow. I was like,
somebody was angry there.
yeah. And it's like, how, anyways, the dude was like trying to, said, hey, I'm sorry. And then he just kind of, or whatever. I didn't mean to, get in your space, or however it went down. I can't quote it, but, and dude was just like bent for an attitude, and then I think his name was Mike, asked dude, I don't remember the people's names that were involved, but asked whoever the other person that was part of the interaction, asked him, is that a person you know? And it said no. Out the door. I thought, man, that's one hell of a way to make a first impression. Nobody knows you there, and you come in acting like a freaking ass. I mean, whatever. I guess that chapter's not going to be written in their books. Not in our story.
If they have an attitude like that, they're not going to get far.
Yeah,
you're not going to find them in these rooms. Everybody's in agreement. That's one thing we notice with non-dual speakers and followers. And can there be non-dual followers? Sure, there are. There's body, mind, action figures that are following the story, and they're following the speakers that they resonate with, and that's all that's going on there.
Yeah,
it's not a good or bad. It's just what's happening. So that's what carries on. Now, if they're going to be agreeable, there's agreements. There's agreements to go on. It seems.
And maybe after the meeting, they might have. No, I don't know. I don't know what happened. It was never brought up. The guy that was really the end of it. Is he your friend? Nope. Boop. He's out of here, and then never brought up again. Paul didn't talk about it. Nobody talked about it. It was such a good thing, a good way to handle such a negativeness. It was like,
well,
it was, but and it kind of makes sense though too, right? Like it was okay. I mean, I don't know. It sounds so stupid, but nobody got caught up in that. You know what I'm saying? It was just
nobody reflected.
Yeah.
Just let him go.
Wasn't even part of. It's just.
No, he's not. He's not part of the group. And he's not going to be part of the group. They're going to keep him out.
I was saying that maybe somebody had a private talk with him afterwards. I don't know.
Probably. Listen. If you talk like that again in the group, you're out. You're not part of it. And don't be going into Zoom that way again.
Yeah, it's like,
so
man, I was wondering how would, just out of the brain was wondering, like how would that even work? Like, I mean, for an angry person like that is what I'm trying to say. How would this message even get to that person?
He's that far removed from any of this. It is not for him. This message is not for people that are like that, man. People that are that way, man, they have a lot of
energy.
They have a lot of clutter to work with. They have a lot of meanness. There's a lot of meanness going on there. Yeah, they're really really full of themselves, and so
That is
they're
just
gonna have.
bizarre, right? Like if I was to ask you,
Yeah,
hey
that is.
Richard, what are you eating? None of your fucking business. Like, whoa. Right? That'd be so like where
None
the
of
fuck?
your goddamn business, motherfucker.
Yeah, what the fuck? That'd be so bizarre, right? I mean, it's so out of character for the
Yeah, I
thing.
think there might be some mental illness going on.
Oh shit.
Schizophrenia, man. That guy might be schizophrenic. Who knows? Because that is a side of it. If you don't know how to act in front of other people that way, I mean, don't even attempt to go in a room. That's what I would tell him. I said, man, you can't trust yourself. Jeez, outbursts like that. I can't remember the last time I got really pissed off like that. I really can't. Come to think of it, that really is interesting. How I don't get angry or frustrated anymore like I used to.
Right.
I get frustrated about certain things sometimes.
But do you find yourself
Frustration
going,
never,
but do you find yourself,
frustration used to arise. Frustration used to happen. It used to arise, and I felt it.
yeah,
And I know I conjured. I know I still conjured that because looking back on it, I could see and notice that I did that. I did it to myself, and I made myself feel that way.
right.
And while we put ourselves through these miseries, these discomforts, and that's what they are. And we are doing that to ourselves. We're suffering, and in a sense, that is a sense of suffering.
You know, it's funny you say that, Richard, because
Yeah.
I had like this understanding once that why, I was so mad at all these things that, I got around me. It's like, how can you be mad at the prison you built for yourself? Why are you mad at all the stuff you did to you? You did it. There's nothing to be mad about. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. It sounds silly and simple when I say it like that, but it was really an epiphany to me at the moment. Just like I was mentioning, it still is there it is. Okay, the thought came back. And you mentioned it too about the story and people's story and how I can understand you've got a story. Oh, that's me though. That's the person I got a problem with the story is I can rationalize, they're acting out a story. And yeah, I can tell myself that, and sometimes when I can actually feel, yeah, it's a story, it's a completely different mindset, I guess would be one way of saying it. And yeah, but it's harder for me to recognize my story than it is to look at. I feel funny and stupid for saying it, but okay, I hear somebody speaking back there. There's no story and there's no one there. Whatever. But still,
But we
it's
still can't
hard.
discuss what has arisen. If some kind of feelings arising in the body, we could discuss that. That's okay. We could
Okay.
discuss even arising a thought that you were entertaining. You may have been entertaining a thought and it came out a certain way, or you want to throw out a thought here in this arena. We could
Yeah,
discuss that. That's fine. In other
I like
words,
that.
there's no wrong. There's no wrong or right in everything that you're sharing here.
Richard,
Anything could be. Yeah. Yeah.
sorry. I don't mean to
Yeah.
interrupt you. There's
Sorry.
also, I was reading, or reading, I don't read, but I was listening to these YouTubes about different Vedic or Vedantic teaching
Yeah.
styles. And
Yeah.
there's a book or a process, I can't really remember which one it is, but it says that it's best, like this, one-on-one, that the one-on-one, it's a I don't want to say student teacher, but
A conversation has a life of its own.
yeah, and it said that
It's got a life of its own. Yeah.
there's a Vedic thing that I wish
Interplay. Yeah.
do you know the book or the what I'm
Oh,
talking
I
about?
know. I know what you're referring to, though.
Okay, good.
Hmm.
I know you're knowledgeable on that kind of stuff, so
But still, even if it is a process or whatever, that's still recognized. If it is a process, and if it's going to be explained that way, speaking in terms of this,
Mm.
talking about this, what is apparently appearing to be true, and not to by for us, to or by us or for us
Hmm.
or from us, to by for from about with upon around before after, all those pronouns, all of that doesn't matter. All that matters is what is apparently appearing to be happening. So what is appearing to be happening, we could talk and discuss that and speak of that. And there seems to be a lot of that going on, a lot of it. And
What
yeah,
happened?
and it's nonstop. In other words, it keeps going and it's going on, and it never will stop either. So that's one sure thing that you could be sure of, certainty. What is certain? That there is another day coming up. There's always going to be tomorrow, always a tomorrow. So, in that way of thinking, if there's always going to be tomorrow, then everything's fine. If there's going to be a tomorrow, and you have to believe that because you lived yesterday. So if you lived yesterday, you're living now, then you know you're going to have another tomorrow. But yeah, but thinking in terms like that, that's a bit broad. I mean, because groups of hours can the time doesn't seem to have any real limitation in terms of how long it takes to spend doing anything really. How long does it take to carry a thought from one position to the next? I mean, that's not even measured. So if thoughts are not attributed to time, then what is that implying? That's implying that's consciousness. That's analogous. That's related to consciousness. So if that's related to consciousness, then and consciousness has to do with knowing, then that's what all thoughts are. Thoughts are normally going to turn out to be knowings.
So could there be a knowing without a knower?
Yeah, easily.
Just like
A knowing can exist in the clouds, and there's no knower for it until a
right.
knower takes that piece of information and then turns it into a knowing. So I don't know that yet, but when I entertain that knowing, now I know it, but let's expand on it. So what do I know about that particular thought or that idea? So
Where did it come from?
yeah,
Where did it come
where do thoughts and ideas come from? They seem as fleeting as emotions.
from?
Emotions seem very closely related to thoughts. Thoughts, emotions seem very closely related because you can feel a certain way, and then you don't really have to feel a certain way. You can entertain a feeling, you can entertain an emotion, a feeling, and just as you entertain a feeling or an emotion, you can entertain thoughts. So thoughts, feelings, emotions, all of these things that are apparently appear to be happening in time are really timeless. So they are and they are not. They're real and they're unreal, both.
Mm.
So that's how it is then. It's real and unreal. It's knowable and it's unknowable. It's apparently appearing and it's
You know what's
nothing.
troubling? What's troubling
Yeah.
is when it makes sense.
If anything makes sense, let's dissect that for a minute. Let's say what is sense anyway? What
The
is
knowing and
sensibility?
the unknowing.
Yeah, what is sensibility? Okay, well, sensibility is sensing that I know about something. Okay, if I know about something, then
Has a ring of
what
truth.
am I what am I going to do with that knowing that I know about?
Doesn't do
Okay,
anything.
if I'm going to carry a knowing, how am I going to apply that to the way I'm being? So
I don't think
so
my
what we know, coincides with who we are. No, see, you can't really fit that way, can you? You can't really say, well, my thoughts are my thoughts. See, these thoughts that I carry are mine. No, not really. You could carry the same thought, but it's not exactly yours either. It's not yours, not mine. It's neither. It's just a thought. Okay, so let's see if we can carry a thought. And is that going to apply to either of us? It may not. It may not apply to either of us because either of us are not an individual. See, there it goes again. Since we're not an individual, so how can we take knowing and then apply that to ourselves? So you can't apply knowing to anybody. So knowing cannot be applied to anybody, really. That means there isn't anything for us to really know that's useful. No, really. I mean, is there anything that we need to know that's useful?
No, Richard, that's why I always find I laugh with this, like the dang meetings. They open it up, they tell you everything in like 3 sentences, and then the meeting goes on for 3 hours, right?
So what we're really talking about here is absolutely nothing. And
Having a
that's
great
what
time
Emerson
doing
says.
it.
That's what Emerson says. Emerson says he enjoys and loves talking about nothing.
Yeah.
And that's true. I'm with him on that. I agree. It's fun to talk about nothing.
I
And
guess it'd be better said, as long as it's recognized, then it's in the right place, right? So to
in,
speak.
in a sense, you could say that it's not really a place, but yet it feels like a place.
Right.
Uh, the meeting, this meeting we're holding, and it's it's a setup. I mean, we have the video set up. It's
Oh man.
appearing.
It's a
We're able
setup.
to speak. We have audio. We're able to speak. We can see.
Oh my
This is a
God.
setup.
Oh,
This is a setup right here. This really is setup. And within the setup, there's another setup. There's a world that's set up, and then within the world, there's this setup. And then there's another one. There's others out there. When I say out there or in YouTube land, you go and visit a channel and look at a recording there. This is incredible. The content is endless, and it will keep going. That's what's amazing. What's incredible is the amount of content that continues to multiply, and it's continuous, and it doesn't seem like it's going to stop at all. It's going headstrong. It's going forward, and it's more recordings, more content.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much content, and all of that content, is it for anybody? So we ask ourselves, is this for anybody? No, we're just simply entertaining. We're entertaining these ideas, these concepts. We're talking about radical non-duality. We're referring to nothing. We're noticing that everything's appearing, is apparently appearing. So everything is finitely appearing because there's finiteness. There's infinity, of course, but that's unknowable. So if infinity is unknowable, then what are we left with? Well, we can finitely apparently appear to discuss it. And that's what we're going to be doing anyway,
Right.
because that's unavoidable. So we're going to finitely appear along with everything else that's apparently appearing.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing here. We're apparently appearing along, going with life, allowing life to flow through, and we're exchanging. We're exchanging what? ideas, just information. We're speaking a language we understand. We understand this language because we learned it. And since we've learned this language, we know it. So that's about as sure about anything that we know so far is the English language that we're speaking right now. We're speaking because we understand it. We hear it.
Right.
We hear the word being spoken. They make sense to us. They make sense because it's understood. It's known. It's a knowable language. We're familiar with it.
Yeah.
And so that's the basis. Now, think of all the other languages, all the other languages that are around us out there.
Oh God.
French, Spanish.
I feel so stupid. You don't even know. It's like, really, because there's these people that speak 2, 3 languages. Like, shit, I barely understand the one I speak. You know?
Yeah.
It's true.
But that's not a bad thing. That's not bad about that. It's just the way it is. That's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
I try to tell myself that too. Just like as
Yeah.
you know,
Even if we did know other languages, what would we do with it?
I call
What
up,
would we do with that information?
let them know, hey, nobody's there. How you doing? Don't worry about it. Nothing's going on.
Yeah, nothing's happening. So
Just chill. Enjoy the ride.
then, this it's crazy. It really is. This is a crazy thing. How can anybody have a discussion about nothing?
Exactly.
How can that be?
That I was watching that too. I was watching it was something about the what did they call it? Let me look. The language of non-duality, I think is what he called it.
Yeah, the language that is used to associate with
Because
non-dualism, non-duality.
like it always says, we're limited by words. We're trying to explain the unexplainable with words, so it's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
interesting.
and that's a dualism. Now,
Oh,
here,
the language of paradox and I can't. I always want to say
Advaita,
what's it? Advaitin?
Advaita,
Advaitin.
Advaita.
Okay. Yeah,
Paradox.
paradox and Advaita. Swami never be able to get his name for now. Not never, but for a long time. But yeah, the language of paradox and Advaita, yeah.
Advaita.
I'd probably have to
Advaita.
take a day. And
Advaita.
Okay, now I always say it wrong. So sad sing,
Advaita.
sad sing, sad sing,
Satsang.
sad song. Shit.
Satsang.
Yeah, I'm so worried about the singing song that I forgot it was sad.
Oh shit. Yes, satsang.
Satsang.
Yeah, satsang. Yeah. Just think of Samsung. And you'll get it right. Think of
Yeah,
Samsung.
I'll just be going through the list, all of them but the right one, At least songs everybody knows. I guess that's most important, right?
Yeah, but still, there it is. I mean, here we are, and we have a satsang going, and the language is being spoken, and the information is being shared, and it has a life of its own.
Yeah.
It apparently appears to carry a life of its own.
Good point.
Yeah, and how does it do that? We're trying to think of how does that happen? And we can't grasp it. We're trying to formulate an idea that encapsulates this form of language that we're speaking in terms of non-duality, non-dualism. And there really isn't a specific word that we can use. There's these terms that we're familiar with. We use satsang. Yeah, we say that it is. The satsang is an old Vedic term that was used so long ago. but that's simply speaking of the setup of discussing non-duality. A
Right.
discussion of non-duality is called a satsang.
Mm.
That's where we discuss non-duality. Now, there's some speakers that incorporate meditation and prayers
Right.
and music and other things like that. You know, I guess just to liven it up, perhaps.
Hey, grandson.
I guess just to liven it up, perhaps they do that.
Nothing I'm aware of yet. You sleep all right?
Yeah.
Grandkid.
He has a phone back?
Yeah.
Yeah, he disappointedly sound like, yeah, I had to give the phone back.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he won't do it again. Hopefully he won't skip school
I told him
again.
he's on notice. I
Yeah.
could shut it off from anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
want to cut, and I look, and you're cut. Oh, the only thing is it cuts me off too. You know. What are you doing? Messes it up. Yeah. What? You want to make me a cup of coffee? What? Sir man,
What?
make me a cup of coffee.
I don't really remember how.
I'll tell. Put one of those pods in and push 8. The top button. Grandpa George will show you. I'll make it. Just push the start it. Just start it. Yeah. Balance, you know. Sometimes that's not easy, huh? He doesn't think so. But I don't know if anything really matters.
Hey, that's a different dog than the other one.
Yep, sure is.
The other one was fluffy. This one has short hair.
That was my mother's first dog that we ended up with.
Oh.
She likes to lick everything. I think she's mentally retarded.
Brain damage.
I think she is.
Was I supposed to click ounces or cup?
The top one. The top little thing that looks like the blue button.
They're all blue.
Okay. Well, the bottom 8 ounce. It says 8.
Okay.
Just make sure you push the very top button and the very bottom button.
All right.
Very top, very bottom.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like listening to some of the Vedic stories out of the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah,
You
the
know?
Bhagavad Gita. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was the first time that I actually, after hearing about the story of Krishna and
Yeah. Well,
Jonah.
Krishna and Siddhartha.
Yeah.
Siddhartha and Krishna. Yeah.
The war, the Great War, I guess they called it.
Yeah.
And it's like I never was able to look at that picture and understand it. It's, oh, duh. But I now was able to see that. Oh, okay, that's Krishna and that's Jonah, and that's what's going on, and they're, the war and all that. And it's like there's the cart, I the horse and the cart and the driver and all that.
Yeah.
Thank you, grandson. Wow. Thank you. Did it. Oh, let me close my door. Yep. Family of pets, man.
The cat. Cat's all chilling out.
Multiplying.
Paws in the air.
No, George takes care of them all, so I don't complain. He does a good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't smell a cat box, so that's all I care about. It's like, you know, some people have cats, and first thing you smell is a cat box. No, he's always on it, so nobody ever smells it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can use. There's cat deodorants and deodorizers and all kinds of different products can be used. So
Yeah.
take care of that way. Yeah.
I don't know who he was. He was standing there and he was listening to what I was listening to, and then because you know he had when he was younger he met some Hare Krishna people when he was a kid, a youngster. And is that a steak?
Rabbit brought me food.
Yeah.
No, it's fish.
Oh, looked like red meat. I was like, dang.
It's ketchup.
Oh, nice. And I forgot now. See? Food? What food? Yeah.
We're gonna go to McDonald's. You know, so
Oh, you go to McDonald's?
I'm gonna buy. Yeah, I don't know.
You're not cooking?
And it's early enough to get breakfast up there. It's not. This is not 5 to 10. Did you want something?
Yeah, I don't. Do they serve anything though? Like if they serve Big Macs, I just want a Big Mac.
Oh, they probably won't till 11. But I'll ask.
Yeah, okay. Well, if not, then just breakfast burritos, I guess. I don't really want those, but yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you're eating fish, and we're gonna go get fucking fast food. Yeah, I know. There's another thing, you know, I was hearing about. See, but there's just two sides to that story. One side saying, you know, which makes sense, you know, take care of your body and your brain and your mind and everything works better. And then I hear another side that says, you know, does any of that really matter? You know, isn't that just kind of ego trying to tell another story? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, everybody got to eat. Got to eat food. Yeah.
right. Yeah. And, you know, I don't know. I guess it's just whatever you're comfortable with, right? I mean, if, like you said, yeah, if that makes you happy, do it. If you want to meditate and that feels good, do it.
Mhm.
You know, if it gets you to your zen, so to speak, then great.
If you have a will, you might as well exert it.
Yeah.
That's what Paul said. If you have a will, exert it then.
Yeah.
See where it gets you.
Yeah. You're either gonna go with it or against it, huh?
That's right.
Oh, Crack Donalds. I was just watching that too. This guy says, you know why their soda tastes better?
Why?
Is, first of all, he's according to this video that they have a deal with Coke, so they get a different syrup that's sweeter, and they said that their straws are actually bigger, so that when you are drinking that soda, more because he's saying there's science behind McDonald's, and I was like, what? You know, and that's what he's saying is the bigger straws are delivering more sweetened stuff to your tongue, making their sodas better.
Uh-huh.
And I forgot the other stuff, but that one stuck.
Yeah.
Oh, Tyson's chicken. He goes, it's not chicken parts. It's actually good chicken, special chicken for McDonald's. So their nuggets aren't some of those crazy commercials they show, according to that
Uh-huh.
person. I don't remember what else after that, but whatever. Yeah. So funny, go right back to thinking in the body, you know, becoming that individual. Individual. That's funny.
Do you feel individuated?
Yes. Okay. If not, just go ahead and get me like a breakfast burrito or something. I'd rather have a Whopper, a Big Mac though. So
Alexa, turn the light off.
Okay.
you didn't say please.
Turn the light off.
Please.
Okay.
Alexa, turn the party bulb off.
Okay.
You're a party bulb, George.
Oh,
She's rebelling. She's got one job, turn off that light. Ah, heck. Yeah. It's just interesting that people have been contemplating the same situation, I guess. You know,
What's the situation? What's the situation?
life. You know, non-dualism. It's been around for a while. The Vedic and all that.
Uh-huh.
That's old. I was listening to that one guy in New York. He says that the Buddhists, I don't know, is it 500 years they had a debate, or 1,000 years, something like that, between them and the Buddhists.
Hindus outdate the Buddhists
Yeah,
by 500 years.
yeah. Isn't that basically a branch of their beliefs, right?
In a way, yeah.
A root, a branch,
But
whatever.
There's been
Offshoot. Huh?
Vedic Vedanta before there was Buddhism. So if that's
And
the case,
isn't it interesting that they say, they being the whatever, but it said that the Bhagavad Gita or the Vedas, right? Those are
yeah.
holy scriptures, so to speak, since
Yeah.
I don't know anything else to call them, that they were delivered in song, right?
Yeah, they're a way of life
That is just amazing to me.
in song, a way of
Yeah,
life. It was sung.
yeah,
It was sung as in sound, vibration,
right.
and then it was spoken, and then spoken word, and then turned into a teaching.
People talk about magic words and words being magic and spinning. Just interesting. I like that picture of, I can't remember all the the Hindu. Is it Burma?
Shiva.
Huh? Is it Shiva,
Shiva.
the one that sits in the middle of the circle with the
That's the one.
posture pose?
Yeah, that's Shiva. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that'd be a fun little trinket to have.
That's the one that controls the Maya.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've seen pictures, I think, where it's like there's little like lights or worlds around the outside of the thing, the drawing or
The perimeter,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why it's opened its mouth, sticking its tongue out, is because it's laughing at the equivalent to the devil or Satan.
He's laughing at
Keeps it
Satan.
at bay. Keeps it at bay by doing that.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That
That's the
reminds
reason
me of
why.
that reminds me of I know it's just a story. That's okay, I'll make that clear. I thought maybe I
Yeah.
should start prefacing things like that. I know this is a story.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, and maybe tell myself that too, so it doesn't get lost in its own story. But
That's all right.
when I was working as a pizza boy, who made pizza dough, I don't want to say I was always on a spiritual journey, but there's always been a desire to know God or be close with God or some sort of sense of spirituality. I don't
Yeah.
that's the only words that I know how to describe it.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, I was feeling really regretful. I probably did something, I don't remember what, that I felt was shameful. I don't know exactly what it was, to be honest. But I was feeling really bad about it, and this vision came into my mind, and it was, or whatever. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, but anyways, I was standing there feeling really bad, and there was these three beings, like people, sitting in chairs, and the one in the middle was laughing at me, and I was like, why are you laughing at me? And they said, because you're wearing an apron, there's nothing ever got on you, and
Yeah.
it's like there's nothing there. It's just a dream, it's like if you wanted to be interpreted into that. And I understood at that time that none of those things were affecting me. I didn't understand it like I do now, in a different sense, with, oh, that was just a body mind action figure, that's why, or it's just the skin, not the snake, however they want to put that terminology,
Yeah.
So, but whatever. But yeah, that was an interesting point. I know it's funny, apron, because I did wear an apron. It's funny how the environment affected the message too. Or
Yeah.
whatever the vision.
You found some meaning in what was said there.
Yeah.
To a
Even
certain
if
degree,
yeah, so I don't know. I just think that's an interesting thing.
yeah, that's the analogy you drew from it.
Yep.
That's what it meant to you. Different things mean different.
Well, I didn't know why they were laughing at me, but and I
Yeah.
don't know if the three beings, I'm not really putting too much into that. That's probably a mental picture or derivative of a god or other, a separate person, self, a separateness, I don't know.
Yeah.
Always trying to diagnose my craziness.
That's
Because
all right.
it's the only way it makes sense. If some of these things you have to put it in just like I told you about our last meeting.
Yeah.
Our last
That's thing, yeah.
that I think it was that my mom came to me in a dream and said that I was having a gathering or party and I needed food or something, and she brought me asked if $197 was enough, And then, a few days later, a check showed up.
Oh,
Happy coincidence, right? $211,
wow.
not 197, but whatever. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I didn't
close.
expect it, and especially it was an insurance check, and they told me
Yeah,
they'd send me 60 something dollars if I sent my mother a copy of my mother's death certificate, which I thought it ain't worth my
yeah.
time to drive to the city, get a
Mhm.
copy of my mom's certificate, put it in the mail, and send it back for 65 bucks.
Yeah,
Just like her bank account. I'm still thinking of calling them and saying, it's not
yeah,
worth driving up there for $70. How about you
yeah,
just fucking I'll show you a video conference phone of my mom's death certificate. You can send me the fucking money, right?
yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
anyways, I'm getting sidetracked by whatever. I don't know. Like I went off somewhere. Nah, it is what it is.
Well, I understand what you're saying, though.
That's good because I completely forgot.
Well, if you're gonna make a trip down there, you want it to be worth your while.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Especially, yeah. The death of my mother's ego, supposedly. That's all that died, right? Some people would say. Some people would say
All
she wasn't, huh?
her essence, her essence will live on in
Right. Just the
memory
body.
through your mind, the memories that you have in your mind. That's how she lives on.
You
You keep her alive with your memories. That's how we keep our loved ones alive, our parents. In our minds, they will always be alive. So if anything, that's that's something that you can rely on. You can take a memory and revisit it, and that revisitation could be a reliving, a retelling of when they used to be around.
Yep. Ah, yeah, yeah. If I'm correct, do you know if Emerson said there is no source? Did he say that or am I tripping?
Oh, he's spoken of source before.
So he wouldn't say there was no source, right?
Well,
You could have? Is it possible?
in a sense, it is source, but source would be everything
Right.
or
So,
everything that appears.
and source is
Is
a
that
finiteness, isn't it? The source is kind of a
source can
finite.
be a finiteness? Yeah,
Yeah.
source can be a finiteness. Yeah,
Yeah. I could understand why he'd say there is no source then, because that doesn't explain infinite.
it's finite source. Yeah,
Right.
but infinite source, that's the absolute. That's going even beyond that, which is further.
Yeah.
But that's unknowable.
I don't know.
So if we start discussing infinity, that is unknowable. So we really don't discuss
Sometimes
that too much. Yeah.
I'm glad when I first met you, you were, or at least it seemed, maybe because my brain was slower or faster. I don't know. It seemed like you just like roll through stuff, and I was just like, my mind couldn't keep up, and uh, I think sometimes, I think sometimes when people get disattached from the self,
Yeah.
I don't know if they realize that. I was thinking that they're so disconnected that it's hard to relate, I think, in a way sometimes. So, because so many, it's like by the time I'm still thinking here, and you're like four way down there, and I'm like, wait, not so much anymore. It's like you slowed down, or I don't know, I sped up. I don't know. I
You
just,
find a happy medium.
yes, there's a happy medium now.
Yeah.
You're probably like holding the reins back. Okay, he's an idiot.
No, of course not.
I'm just joking. That's
No,
just
no, of course not.
whoever. Yeah. Remember that one guy You probably don't because it's just one guy. He looks like Father Time, you remember? I thought it was so funny because I was like, who does he? He looks like so many other people I've met, but I think he seems like a wonderful person, really. I'm
Jody
trying to find-
Parsons.
No, Ira.
Oh, Ira Shepperton.
Yes, I now I forgot what the point was. I really like him. I was like, I do. I think he seems like a wonderful soul, you know, or whatever you
Yeah,
want to
with a
call
long beard. Yeah.
it. I also like this other guy. I don't know if I met him from you. Met him from you. I haven't met any of these people. Whoa. That startled me. Yeah,
Oh,
I like that. Something went wrong. Of course it did. Oh, not him. I think they
Ramana.
probably talk about him, but I've never heard him speak.
Yeah, Ramana Maharshi.
This guy, I like him.
Oh, okay.
You've seen him before? Is that you?
No.
It's
No.
you in the future, isn't it? You know what's funny is I don't know who said it, and I don't know if it's crazy, but it's what did she say? I know it's not in the reality, but it was said that you're just basically speaking to yourself or listening to yourself. And I thought, well, isn't that strange, right? If you speaking is me talking to myself, and me speaking is you speaking to yourself. I know this sounds like maybe I dropped some mushrooms or something. I honestly didn't. Okay, I'm naturally crazy this way, and it's just too much, man. Anyways, it sounds a little kooky, but just entertaining that idea made me feel like, in some ways you start to hear yourself too, even though it's not you. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Get the
You're
people
hearing-
in the
you're
white
hearing
coat.
yeah. You're hearing the narration. You're hearing the narration of a narrator of a story that's speaking of a truth, and that's going to be a story as well, because no matter what is spoken, it's always going to turn out to be a story, because the English language is a dual language, and it can't help but be a dual language.
Right.
But
all languages dual, would you say?
Yeah, all languages are dual, because it's already being spoken. Just by speaking the language, you're already in duality. Already. So if that's the case, then we should recognize it. And if we recognize it, then that's good enough. And once we recognize it, then we don't fall into these dualistic traps, so to speak, where we start going off in tangents or start going off telling our stories. And our stories can go on and on. But we won't entertain our stories, because we already know, we recognize that a story need not be told. We're simply living through whatever apparently appears to happen. So when I say living through, we're life enlivened. In other words, it's ing, it's an activity. And that's what we're doing with life. And if we have something to say, it's usually going to be something that the body mind action figure is going to convey. It's going to convey an idea, it's going to convey a story, and that may only apply to that which we are not. In other words, we are not that which needs to know anything. But the reason why we're speaking of anything at all is to recognize the dual nature of a story, but also how that dual nature can turn into a story so easily that the next thing that the person says turns out to be part of that story that's being told. In other words, let's just say that I'm speaking in terms of what's apparently appearing to happen. So what is apparently appearing to happen? Everything's apparently appearing to happen and no thing. So it's everything and no thing simultaneously. And if that's the case, then what else is there? What else is there beyond the story of an individual and what's not really real or what's not really happening? So you have both what apparently appears to be happening and that which does not appear at all, which is unseen, unknowable, unreal. And then we have the realness, which is the apparent appearance of us speaking, but at the same time, we're not really here. But we're not really anywhere. We're kind of in the everywhereness, so to speak. So if we are in the everywhereness, then that's simply saying that since we're apparently appearing, we're appearing in the everywhereness, but we're not really here. See, we're not here or we're not there. We're not in a fixed position in space and time. We're an apparent appearance, but that's as far as that goes. So since we're an apparent appearance and we have information we're sharing and stating, then that information strikes the ear of the listener. Now, the listener is not that listener of the self. It's that listener that is also the witness, or the witness. The witness is hearing, but not the listener. That's the body mind action figure. The body mind action figure will listen and hear, but it won't hear this message that I'm speaking of, because there's also the hearer, which is not part of the action figure. It's that which observes what's apparently appearing to be going on or happening all the time. So if that's the case, then what we are sharing, what we're sharing is going to be a message intended for
dogs.
The food has yet to arrive. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the neighbor mowing. The neighbor's mowing.
The food's on its way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what I'm simply trying to say is that if you could simply recognize, even without explaining it this way, but the reason why I'm explaining it this way is so I could point it out and then you notice it, but it doesn't always have to be focused upon that way. But there's two realities going on here. The observer and the listener is that which observes and listens, not from the vantage point of the conjured self or the body mind action figure, but part of what we truly are, which is the every-awareness. We're part of the every-awareness of everything finitely apparently appearing. So if that's the case, then we can express this way, but at the same time, that which we're not is going to pick up on it as well.
Right.
And when I say that which we're not, is the idea of an individual, or the idea of a separate self, or that feeling of being an individual or being a person. If that is no longer entertained, and that's not happening there anymore, then the message clearly strikes what you truly are, which is every awareness, which is that which apparently appears to be the body, mind, action figure. And that is about as precise as I can get, and about as simple as I could try to explain it, um, without going any further than that, without muddling it up.
Right.
I'm trying to clearly state here how this really is appearing, how the
Right.
body, mind, action figure is just appearing along with everything else, but it's constantly presenting itself or appearing visible in mirrors. But that is simply all that is, or everything appearing. In other words, it's finitely appearing as a body, mind, action figure, but it's everything, all of it. Uh, every appearance of what is visible. So what's visible is the appearance of everything, but that which is not visible is still part of what we are as well. So we're both real and unreal. That's how we are real and unreal, visible and unreal, or visible and not visible, and apparently appearing and not apparently appearing. So that's the paradox. That's the paradox of that speech, the Advaita of paradox, speaking in terms of this way. So if I bring that down a few notches, then I'll simply say that what apparently appears to be happening is continuing to happen, regardless if we're aware of it or not. If we're aware of it, then it's going to appear anyway,
Yeah.
even if we're aware of it or not aware of it. But yet, if we just recognize that once we apparently appear to be observing or listening or hearing or any of these senses that the body mind uses,
Yeah.
that in itself is that's the temporal temporariness. It's a temporary message that's not really applies to us, but it's applicable to the scenario or the situation that may be at hand. In other words, uh, if we speak of, let's say, the presence of knowing,
Mm.
okay, there we know that knowing is attributed to the conjured self. We know that. How do we know that? Well, that's because consciousness, or being aware to being aware, is how the body mind action figure operates. The body mind action figure operates that way, whereby it takes everything that it hears, absolutely everything that it hears, and turns it into a knowing. And that is the difference between that which is hearing from the everywhereness, or that which we truly are, and the body mind action figure that still thinks in terms of a self, a conjured self, or an individual. So it's always going to be kind of caught in between that and this. So there's this and there's that.
I heard that somewhere else. It's this,
So
not that. It's that,
yeah,
not this.
this, not that. So if that's the case, it is really this, but it's not that. It's really this. So if this is what
Where that.
is truly apparently appearing to happen, then that is attributed to what we're not, or also the sense of a separate self. So that's the difference, but it's so subtle and it's so very close though. If you notice how close it is, because it's nearly a match. It tries to fool the self-conjured self. It tries to fool the individual. It tries to convince it that, wait, I know what he's talking about. I know this, but it's not a knowing. See, that's how close that the body mind can get trapped into that way of thinking.
Mhm.
So if it simply drops, it drops that way of thinking in terms of a self-conjured self that's hearing what is being stated, then it can operate on what this is all about. And once it begins to operate more on what this is saying, then that begins to fall away even further. So that which you were once considering to be a separate self or a body mind action figure, that it's an individual in that kind of way of separateness, if you're still thinking in terms of that, then come on over to this. And if you come on over to this, then you'll notice that more often. So what I'm trying to say is, if you could just follow that train of thought, follow the train of thought till it reaches all that is, until it reaches this, or that which has no parameters, or is boundless, is endless, timeless. And once that is once you cross over, then there's no turning back. Because if you cross over, you're not going to be able to find your way back. In other words, it's going to get to the point of where no matter what is being heard and stated is going to be heard not from the body mind action figure's ears, or the body mind action figure that you used to think you were. It's going to be heard by ears of the, well, of all that is really, of this or that which has no name. It's how can I put this? It's so difficult to explain because it's not really a knowing, and it's not really an awareness, but it's still it's kind of beyond aware to being aware. It's a little bit beyond awake to being awake, but
Mhm.
it's kind of a recognition. In other words, it's sort of a recognition. And so once that recognition is recognized, then there really is never any going back ever again. Even if it tries to fool itself, it says, well, I'm going to go back to being that person I was before, that individual, that self-conjured self. I'm going to return back to going about my day, and now I have these plans, and I'm going to go back to living my own life now. That's, you're going to find out that that's not possible anymore. Now, how can that be, where in one instant, I was representing myself. I was still recognizing that I was an individual and that I was following the birth certificate. I believed all of that. I was in full belief of those things. So how can we cross over from that to this? And no longer that anymore, but we're still now going to be referring to this, but only this. And there's no longer any more of that. And so that is that. So if you could think that way in terms of boundless energy, just coursing and running through and flowing freely, free flowing, always, always ever present, always appearing. If that is recognized, then there really isn't going back to that anymore. There isn't really no way that this can ever go back to that, because this is all there really is. All that's ever been, all that always will be is this. Now, this is still unknowable, but yet that's about as far and deep that this could be explained.
I do think there probably is a limit, huh? On how far you can explain it.
Yeah, I think that this is about as far as I can go with this message. I don't think I could go any further than that. Yeah, that's about as far as I'm going to go with that, because this, when it begins to speak this way, it sounds so paradoxical. It is and it isn't. It is real and unreal. It's observable and unobservable. It's knowable and unknowable.
Yeah, right.
It
So
is
I
all
tried
of it.
to, that's why I said that's the part that reminds me of quantum mechanics right there. Is
Yeah.
this part, which I don't know all the mechanics of quantum mechanics, but just, you don't know until you look, basically, right? It's not there until, it's there and it's not there.
Even when you're looking, you're going to repeat again, and you're going to appear again, same way, and it turns into a fractal. Remember?
Yes.
Get close to it. It goes past you, and there's another you, close, past, and then it's still you again. It's always going to be that image in the mirror. We look in the mirror, we see an image, yeah, but if you look in the mirror, there's another appearance behind that too, of that image. You notice how it repeats itself.
Yes.
There's a mirror image of your image, and then there's another appearance of an image of yourself, and then behind that appearance there's another one, another one. It's like the Russian doll, it's like the fractal, it's like the ocean. That's a representation of infinity, in a sense. If you want a representation of infinity, there it is. Now that really boggles the mind. Now that's really going deeply into some radical non-duality when you speak of fractals, when you speak of images within images, dreams within dreams.
Yeah.
The dreamer of that dream, and then that dream.
See the way you said that?
The next dreamer. Yeah.
See, that has a ring of truth to me, is a dreaming,
Yeah.
a dream. It just, even though this says this is reality.
Yeah.
it's easy to understand how dreaming is more real than all of it, because
Yeah, in this reality,
in the
this,
dream
this,
state, huh?
this reality that we appear, this
Mhm.
appearance is not really real. Remember, this appearance as it's seen and it's witnessed is not real. It's just part of scenery. That's all this is, just scenery. It's not for anybody. It's not for no one. It's for no one, but it's still scenery nonetheless. So if that's the case, then if we go into a dream, we notice how real it feels.
Right.
It feels real as we're dreaming,
Correct.
but as long as we don't wake up when we're still in the dream, then
Yeah.
that's still participating in that realness of the dream.
Yeah.
But then when we wake up from the dream, where are we waking up to? Or what are we waking up to? See, that's the question. That's
Well,
the
this body
really big
mind,
one.
this
That's the
body
really
mind.
big one, because during
Go ahead.
the
I was looking at food. Sorry. Oh,
during the death process or dying, whenever a person dies or passes away, that could be what happens. In other words, when we pass away, we may wind up in that dream reality.
yeah.
And
Very
if we
close.
wake up there instead of here.
Yeah.
You see, we're going to wake up there instead of waking up here.
You know what's funny
right. Yeah.
is there is a sense of self that seems to be the same self in all those states.
Yeah.
You
In the state of the dream, there's some kind of representation of the self. That's true.
Yeah, and it seems to
Yeah.
be like the same self.
Yeah. The same type. Yeah.
Yeah.
It still feels like yourself. I mean, it still feels like the personality
I
or
told you
the,
how. Oh, sorry.
yeah. No, go
Told you
ahead.
how one time I had a dream that, because remember I told you that I was practicing trying to recognize what is a dream and what's not a dream, and I
Yeah.
hit my head on a stop sign to try, and I felt it. So I was like, "Oh shit, this is real," but even though it's a dream. So somehow by my mind, somehow it's like trying to. I don't know. It's like I got the way out was already figured out. Like, oh, he's gonna try and do this. We got to make sure the body
Yeah.
feels it. And I
Right.
swear, it's like that was the end of that. What did he need?
There's 2 breakfast burritos for you.
Okay.
Or something in there. So they.
Look at the dog perking up, man. The dog perked up.
Oh yeah.
He said he
Food.
thinks it's for him.
There's what, a breakfast
Not for
burrito.
the butt up.
What does he want?
Who?
Does Herman want something? Or?
They've already got theirs. He's already eaten most of his on the way home.
All right. He probably just eats whatever I don't eat.
Huh.
Usually, right?
I don't know.
No, I'll ask him. Anyways, yep, they're following the food guy.
Yeah.
Close the door.
The dog perked up because he thought he was going to get his share.
Oh yeah, we always gotta.
Yeah, the dog always says, "Hey, I want some."
Yeah, of course, right? Part of the pack. So funny.
Yeah. So what's being stirred up here? It's just kind of taking what's available and just explaining in terms of how it could be.
Right.
See, everything that's possible that could happen, a possibility, is endless. There's endless possibilities of what could apparently appear to happen
Right.
at any given point in space and time. Yeah, any given point, space and time. So if that's the case, should we live and exist in a way of expecting the unexpected, or should we continue to go on and take whatever appears and just go with that? Or what do we do? We just simply go on as we have always been going and continuing to go on as we have all along,
Yeah.
except for one main important factor, which of course that factoring has to do with where do you place your recognition. Now I'm saying not your recognition, but where do you place recognition?
Okay.
Now, is your recognition different than mine? In a sense it is, but it really isn't. In a sense it's different, but it's not really different. It's the same type of energy, but it's going to be directed energy. Now, this is where it gets interesting here. Because how could the energy be directed? Well, it depends on where you focus or where you concentrate your envisioning or your line of sight.
Mm.
In other words, there's that double slit experiment again. If there's an observer, that does what to the proton and the appearance of the back of the that platform of where it
Right.
landed. That's the observance. The observer is distorting the outcome. That's the observer. Now, if the observer is not involved, then it goes on and randomly appears.
Yeah, it's weird, huh?
If the observer is there witnessing, it's going to appear in a particular way. So that's kind of the difference between that which we are as ever presence or everything, always, and the body mind action figure. The body mind action figure is a product of kind of the double slit experiment or the observed. So that's kind of what that body mind is. The body mind is the observed that distorts reality. It's a distortion of reality. It's not a bad thing. It's just what apparently appears to be happening. It's a distortion of reality. It's not the true reality, in other words. Well, what's the true reality? True reality is that there's always, and the probabilities are endless. And it goes on and on and on like that, without a beginning, without an end, and with no parameters, no boundaries. It's seamless. And so, is that what this is all about? Well, this is kind of how it seems to apparently appear to us. To us, when I'm saying to us, it appears this way, but it could change so quickly and so subtly. It could go one way or another, but there it is. There's the conundrum. There's the paradox. It appears a certain way, but we're not sure how it's going to appear until it does, until it finally appears. And when it does appear, then it's observed. And then once it's observed in this reality, then it distorts it. So whatever is witnessed,
Isn't that terrible?
whatever, and it could be anything that's witnessed, whatever is proclaimed. See, that's the difference. If the conjured self proclaims and says, I know that. I know that. So it's in that knowing that distorts. See? Knowing is a distortion of the reality. In other words, it's observing. It's in the act of observance. Therefore, if it's in the act of observance, it's in the act of knowing as well. Because to observe is also to know. So if it's going to go all out and do that, then that's the outcome. That's how it's going to appear. that appeared to be a distortion, and that has already happened, and that was a choice. It wasn't a free will choice, it was a choice that was made. In other words, that was that gap that was filled in, or that was that delay, that 3-second delay was filled in with a choice that was made when it observed some type of action going on. Now that could apply to anything, really. That could apply to absolutely anything that the body mind action figure becomes involved with. So whatever the action figure becomes involved with is going to be part of that scenario or of that scenery where it's going to observe. It's going to be the observer, and it's going to proclaim. It's going to proclaim because why? Because its business is in knowing. That's the business of the conjured self. It's in the business of knowing, of consciousness. It's in the need. It's in the need to know. It wants to know. It has to know. It has to know. It really does. It has to know. It wants to know. It doesn't know how not to know. It doesn't know how to do that. Therefore, it's going to constantly keep continuing to try and figure out to know about it. To know about what? To know about absolutely anything. Absolutely anything that comes about and apparently appears to simply apparently appear to be. So what apparently appears to be, conjured self needs to know about it. He wants to know. Hey, I want to know about what are you talking about there? You see, it's always going to be doing that. Because that's the habitual offensiveness. It habitually offends that way, and it is constantly going to do that because that's all it knows. Now that's one of the toughest things to break. That's one of the strongest habits of a self-conjured self to break that habit. How do you break the habit of knowing? Wow, that's going to be a really tough one. How do you break the habit of knowing? That's a big one for the self-conjured self to overcome. But that's usually one of the very last obstacles that it does have to overcome. And it might take years before it figures it out, or before it finally settles and recognizes that it's been doing that. And it'll finally recognize that it doesn't have to know. But in the meantime, it's going to want to know. It wants to be in the know. It wants to have that as its own knowing. It wants to take that experience and turn that experience to a knowing. It wants to take an experience that's happening in space and time. It's not really truly happening, but it believes it's happening anyway. The self-conjured self believes there's happenings happening for, to, by, for, from, and about itself. It believes that. And if it believes it, then it knows it. And if it knows it, it's still caught in that loop. It's going to be trapped in that loop. Not really trapped in the sense that it can never get out, but it's a tough one for it to get out of.
Samsara, is that they call it samsara?
Samsara, yeah.
When you keep getting the loop, is that what they call it?
Keep getting caught in the loop of manifestation.
That's samsara,
or reincarnation.
right?
The wheel of Dharma, the reincarnation, to come back again. That's a really tough one to break.
Right.
But if you can recognize that, you're not that anymore, and if it happens, then that means you've escaped the wheel of Dharma. That means you won't have to reincarnate again. And when that means, if that's what that means, then you're truly liberated, and you can go on. You go on and exist in a way that's well beyond anything that we can't even imagine, because infinity's unknowable. Since infinity's unknowable, and we are in our nature, we're really infinite, but we're finitely appearing. Okay, we're really infinite beings,
right?
But we're finitely appearing right now. And as we finitely appear, this is what begins to happen. This is what begins to happen in terms of formulating and developing a sense of a separate self. The sense of a separate self develops once that recognizes and begins to claim, make proclamations of knowing. It knows that it's a separate self. It knows the sense of separateness. It recognizes that and it wants it. It wants it because then it can know about it.
Mm.
Because if it didn't take that, then it wouldn't have it wouldn't have that knowing part. In other words, the knowledge, like the apple, Adam and Eve, the tree of knowledge.
Mm.
See, that was the apple. Now, before that, they were innocent, like babies. They didn't know any better. They didn't know the difference between good and evil. They didn't know about dualism, duality, polarity. They didn't know that. See, they were innocent to it, and so they were like babies. But what did they do? They, in a sense, uh, they took of the fruit of the tree of knowledge, and they ate it. Then they were aware, and when it made them aware, then they knew. Then they had a knowledge base that was forming, and then there went innocence. Innocence was kind of tainted, was ruined,
I can
and
get
so
it. Yeah.
so that's kind of what that message is speaking of. It's speaking of that which happened there, and since that happened, then that created the wheel of Dharma. The wheel of Dharma was created then, whereby the reincarnation the wheel of Dharma, or the reincarnation story began from that, based on that scenario. And so that's what we're dealing with even now. I mean, this is going on and on. It's continuing on and on, but that's what has happened there, and that's what did happen.
In I can't remember is it Burma, the one in the middle of the wheel that has the tongue out? What's the name of that?
Shiva.
Shiva. Oh, Shiva. I didn't know Shiva was.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's the
Self
Maya.
or whatever.
That's the Maya that the Shiva is controlling the
Uh,
Maya.
man.
Yeah, and
Um,
directing it. Always directing it, because that's also part of knowing. You know, it helps you to know. Shiva encourages that. In fact, Shiva's encouraging you to know about it. Shiva wants you to know, because then it keeps you in that wheel of Dharma, in that reincarnation, that cycle. Keeps you coming back. So it has something to
coming
do.
back. It works
That's
if
its
you work
job.
it.
That's its job. It has something to do. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to continue to do what it knows best to do.
That makes
And that's
sense.
to deliver knowing.
And that's the ultimate thing there too, right? It's
That's
like
to deliver knowing, deliver knowledge, to deliver the ability to be conscious, consciously aware, knowledgeable. I think, therefore I am. See, if I could think, then I know it. And if I know it, then I am it. So that's what kind of messed up the whole
No, you're it.
economy. See, that's what kind of messed it all up. And it's happy there. It's happy knowing, and it wants to know. It doesn't want to go back and to infinity, and then go on beyond that. But nobody knows what that's going to be, because no one's ever been able to know it. It's unknowable. Right. But whatever it is, it's far supposed to exceed all forms of existence. So although this is temporary, and we're finitely appearing, and we could speak of these things, but what's outside of the wheel of Dharma, what's beyond reincarnation is just astounding. Whatever it is supposed to be beyond, beyond this.
Yeah.
And what could be beyond this? That's not knowable. So that's the mystery. The mystery is infinitudinal complexification. Now, there's a word you may never ever hear anywhere else again. Infinitudinal complexification. It sounds like I made that up, but I didn't. I didn't make that word up. It's only found in one website out of all the millions and billions of websites that are out in the world today.
And you better not say yours. Is it your site?
No, I really would. I wouldn't mind making the claim, but still.
So you don't have it on your site?
No, but I use it.
So
I still use it because it's that rare.
So now
it's
there's
that
two.
rare to be used that I use it
Just fucking with
quite
you.
a bit. No, but that's it. Infinitudinal complexification is referring to everything that's ever possible and beyond that. It's always, always. In other words, always and always.
Richard,
Yeah.
You said that in the wheel of Dharma, the Shiva in the middle, and she's sticking her tongue out at the devil, or the equivalent of the devil.
Keeping it at bay and going like that, making a face at it.
What is the Hindus' name for the devil, or do they have a devil, or what is that?
They do have a demon, but I can't remember what they call him. He does have a name, and it has several names, but
how do they interpret? Is it like a negative dream, or how would it function be?
It has to do with more getting into insatiations. In other words, it speaks of all the seven, what's referred to the seven deadly sins.
Oh.
But it refers to insatiating them. In other words, getting really into it and getting lost in feelings, getting lost in the materialism, getting lost in the envy and the sloth and all those things that have to do with knowing and being and the seven deadly sins, really.
What that reminded me of is, I don't know where I heard this story about that when an enlightened being, and I think it's some sort of reincarnation thing, that as you go around the wheel, so to speak, that you start to, you get to a point where you think you're all great, right? But I think this is, maybe it's something from Buddhism that I don't know where I heard this, but something I watched. Anyways, that as you rise up, you get so almost, for lack of a better way of understanding, because I don't even know. But anyways, how to express it. You probably, if you've heard of it, then you'll know maybe.
Yeah, godlike.
Yeah, and you start to think you're godlike, and when you get to you think you're godlike, there's a maybe that you turn right back down around.
There's something that'll strike you down. Yeah, you'll never quite reach that.
Again. Yeah,
you'll never quite get beyond that, because that's part of the wheel of Dharma.
Yeah,
and that is just a separate wheel. That's not all that is. That's not infinitudinal complexification we're talking about. That is the wheel of Dharma, and that's a wheel, and you can get trapped in it. And for many, many years, you could be looping in that wheel.
Wow.
But once you recognize that you were in that wheel, once you recognize that, then you'll find a way out, and that is the way out. To recognize
you're in
one. You're no longer part of that. You don't need to know anymore. You don't have to know it. In other words, the intensity, the yearning,
yes,
the actual yearning of wanting to know keeps us in that wheel. But yeah, so that's how that's why knowing isn't isn't favorable for a for one who may be involved in or still steeped in a separate sense of self. In other words, if you still find yourself interested in such things, then you're
Yeah.
still that way. You still have yet to wake up to the fact that you're really not that. So either you're aware of it or you're not.
Yeah.
Either are you aware that you are representing self, representing the body mind, but personalizing it. In other words, are you aware that you want to remain in the know? Do you want to know about that, and you want to refine that, and that's your life? And are you recognizing that or not? So that's, you got to ask yourself these questions. Am I a separate self? Do I believe in my own story? Do I believe that I'm really a separate person in my own body mind, and this is really my mind, my body, and my life, and I have free will and choice, and I know what I know, and what I know is enough information to get me by. I know enough to get by. In other words, so the subconscious self says that to itself. It says, I know enough to get by, and that's all I need to know. But if I can know more, I'll try. I will make every effort to know as much as I can. I want to improve my life. And so I'm going to look into self-help books. I'm going to keep looking into spirituality. I'm going to keep trying to improve. And so that's how it spins itself, and it stays in the wheel of Dharma that way. It remains in the wheel of Dharma, of reincarnation, because it doesn't recognize that it's going to come back, but it will. It'll come back and repeat over again until it recognizes that it really isn't. Until it recognizes it really isn't that separate self that it thinks it is. Until it recognizes that it's not really a separate sense of self that has its own life to live, and that birth certificate is self-identifying with, and a life that it believes is living of its own accord volition. All those things really aren't true. But then, does the separate sense of self convince itself of that? Either it's going to convince itself of that or not. Either it will or it will not. One way or the other. One way or the other. It's going to have to eventually make up its own mind somehow. Now, can it do that? Can it make up its mind not to believe in itself, not to believe that it's not a separate self? It really isn't. Or to believe that it never really was to begin with, or it never really existed as a separate self. It was fictitiously maintaining that idea. It was fictitiously focusing on information that supported and enhanced and promoted self. So anything that promotes the self, it's all for it. And if it is, then it's going to remain that way. And it's going to continue on. And this message is not going to make sense to it at all. This message is going to get past, that's not going to suffer the ear of what it truly is. It's not going to reach what it truly is. It's just going to continue on believing that it's a separate individual. in separation is going to believe in all the dualities, all the dualisms, going to continue believing in those. And it's going to continue to want to know. I need to know more. I want to know about that. And so that's it. It's going to have to decide sooner or later. Sooner or later, it's going to be confronted with this non-duality. It's going to have to recognize, either you're going to recognize it or you're not going to recognize it. It's neither good or bad. It's just what apparently appears to be happening. So that apparently appears to be the case right there. And that's it. That's the case. So what's it going to be? I ask you, what's it going to be? Are you going to admit it? Or you're not going to admit it? You still haven't got your food? Got your food,
No.
right?
Yeah, I'll go get it. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably getting cold.
probably. I don't know how long it's been. Did you let my tea get cold? Come in here, bingo, Reno. Boy. My pup.
The dog.
Reno.
Hey, what up? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Don't stare at my munchie that way.
There you go. Got a good picture. Wonder what he's looking at.
He said, I win it.
Poor Reno.
Reno, win it. Silly butt up.
Begging.
Yeah. He's taking a bite.
He's like, oh, that was good. Put some hot
Silly
sauce.
butt up. He's intently watching. God,
I know, right?
you got his attention now.
Oh Lord.
Won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz?
That would help.
My friends all drive Porsches. I must make amends. Work hard. Oh man.
You know, if I had to, like, it's very confusing, I think. I hear it's
What's
so
that?
simple.
What's that?
The non-duality, you know.
Uh-huh.
And I think the only people that think it's simple are the people that are, it's like somebody that knows how to build a house. It's simple. Somebody knows how to do stuff. It's simple. Why? Because you see it from the other side. So it's simple. I mean, and it probably is. But what I'm not saying, I think sometimes, yeah, I think a lot, apparently, or whatever. But it seems like in some ways saying it's easy almost feels like an extra burden, you know? It's so simple. And it's like, well, why the hell can't I see it then? So then
Because
it
it's
adds.
hiding. Because it's hiding in the simplicity. This is hiding there. The message of non-duality is hiding. It's hidden. And it's very, very well hidden in the ordinariness, in the dog shit awareness. He's hiding in that.
You sure?
It's very well concealed. Yeah, it's hiding there. And there is where it continue to hide as long as it's not found. Because then then it won't be paid attention to. It won't be paid attention to because it's too ordinary. It's so very ordinary that it's missed. It's overlooked. And so since it's overlooked in the ordinariness, it passes it by. Because it's expecting what? It's expecting something sensational.
Right.
It's expecting something transitional. Something that's never really happened before. Something sensational. That can't be it. Ordinariness can't be it. See? So it ignores that and it looks for something sensational. So then it keeps looking for, keeps seeking and searching and looking for that next thing. It's always looking for the next thing, and that next thing it's going to encounter, it's going to believe that, hey, maybe this will be it. Maybe this will be that material, that information that I've been looking. I'm going to keep checking some more websites until I find something more sensational than what I found before. So it's going to keep looking for that. Just like UFOs, just like that.
Yeah.
Just like the sensational UFOs that are seen and witnessed, and all the sensational things that go on in the world right now, all those miracles and vehicles that are flying in the sky and things like that. You know, that's, people are looking for something sensational like that, something that's going to really wow them.
Mm.
And,
Yeah.
then they'll believe that that's what it is.
Wow, you know, when you say that, it didn't sound much different than drugs. Looking for the sensation of excitement or
Psilocybin does that. Yeah. Psilocybin hallucinogens.
that would be fun. No,
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah. Well, that's true. You could have ayahuasca, take ayahuasca or any of those kind of drugs, and all that's going to give you is a trip. It's going to distort
story.
your mind. It's going to distort the mind. It's going to cause it to see images and colors and things like that. And
The walls
things are not
breathe.
really
I
there.
know. I've watched the walls breathe. I felt like I've been torn down to an atom and rebuilt.
Yeah.
Sounds weird.
Things like that. Yeah. Weird things like that. But that's all it does. I mean, that's all that's happening there. All you're doing is going on a trip. You're mind altering. And that's all that is. Mind altering imagery.
Still in there though, right? But I only have so much of a eye. There's only so much of a color spectrum that the eyeballs can pick up. So
There you go.
maybe there is stuff happening outside of that spectrum.
Oh man, there's a whole lot more going on. We're just witnessing a very small bandwidth, very, very narrow piece of the pie, so to speak.
I know, right? I mean, that's
what's beyond this is just unimaginable.
I find that funny too, that they being science can admit that the limitations of what they can study, but yet they say with such certainty that that's it,
Yeah.
Even though we know we can't see it, even though we know we can't weigh it, but until we can see it and weigh it, I can't believe it.
That's right.
Or it's not real. So
yeah, it's not real. Right.
So I don't know. So I don't know.
That's right. We don't know because it's unknowable.
Oh, what's the matter, Reno? You already got all the
Reno says he win it. I win it. Oh.
Does it hurt your feelings?
What the
Bye.
hell?
Huh? He's mad now.
Wow, that was an interesting reaction
Yes.
because he didn't share with him.
No, I did.
Did you?
The other dog
Oh,
came
wasn't
in.
enough. It
Huh?
wasn't enough. It wasn't
No,
enough.
this dog came in. There's another dog. We got
Oh,
three dogs.
that's what he's barking. Oh, he's barking at the other one.
She's
Okay.
here. I don't know. She's right here.
Yeah, that's what
big.
he's barking at.
She's the
He's
oldest
barking at
one.
the other Yeah.
Okay, go lay down. It's all gone. Sorry,
He's
Molly.
barking at that one.
Can you see her? She's pretty black.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah,
There she
well,
goes.
that's a big one.
Yeah, she's a Labrador.
Wow.
We thought she was gonna die. She couldn't walk there for a while, but then we gave her some medical marijuana,
Yeah,
and
it fixed her up.
walking. Yeah, it helped
Wow.
her. Our neighbors said because she couldn't stand up, and then George started massaging her. She has these tumors all over her body, Labrador. It's really a terrible thing, but he started massaging her legs because she couldn't stand up, giving her that medical marijuana stuff, CBD for animals or whatever, and
It worked.
he's walking now.
Did they go away? Did those tumors
Some
go
of them
away?
did shrink. Yes, some of those tumors,
Wow.
the ones on her back, because that's the ones I think
Yeah.
were affecting her spine, her legs the most, because there were big tumor knots right on her spinal cord that shrunk.
Right.
But the other cysts, like on her chest, and she was just covered in cysts. I mean, and she still does. She has them in her neck too.
Uh-huh.
But
you gave her that marijuana, and that medical marijuana worked. Isn't that something?
yeah, it revitalized her. Of course, me being Of course,
What the hell is
maybe
that?
Reno's mad at Herman's redheaded friend.
We're gonna go play basketball.
He's a tall redhead.
Oh.
Every time he sees him, he sees Mars and says, "Let's go to war."
Oh, okay. I was wondering what
Yeah,
that
he
ruckus
doesn't
was
like that
about.
kid, huh?
I was wondering what that ruckus was about.
Yeah, I'm gonna close my door. It keeps getting open. My grandson and everybody opens the door, then they don't close it.
Yeah, they say they're gonna go play basketball. So
Yes, that's a good thing. I'm glad. I'm so glad they're
Yeah.
getting out and doing stuff again. Oh,
That
man.
is.
It just really broke my heart to see him stuck in his room for 2 years, basically.
Oh no, that's not good for them, man. They need to get out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And then,
good that they're getting-
huh?
That's good that they're getting out like that.
Yep. Throwing football, stuff like that. He still likes to box a little bit. I'm trying to help him understand that, he's 13 or 14, excuse me. He's a big kid and he knows how to box a little bit, and I try to tell him that, you have, 3 or 4 years of karate and you have, a little bit of boxing and other stuff. So, an average person, if you got in a fight with him and you hurt him because I want to, because he's angry right now. So I'm trying to deal with, that lizard brain, so to speak, of adolescence, it's like just all that energy. And then he broke up with his girlfriend, or his girlfriend broke up with him. So he has all that extra, that's when it started, is when his girlfriend broke up with him. He wants to beat up this kid. And I said, no. I said, if you hit him, I said, he goes, it's just 2 kids. I said, no, Herman. And it sounds like the worried, oh, everything could go bad. You're going to hit him. And then, I said, even if that, I said, his parents could sue us because, you for
Right.
medical bills and stuff like that. I said, if you
Right.
want to fight somebody, you tell them, hey, I want to take you on. We go into the octagon and we take care of our business there. That's the only way he can do it without getting in trouble. Right?
That's true.
Really. Take your, and I said, the Ron doesn't mind you going down there and using the ring. So there you
Good.
go. That's where you have to do
It's
it.
good. That's a good idea to do that
Yeah.
that way. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, because I don't want him, I told him, you don't need a record. You don't want that. You just don't.
Mm-mm.
It's like, he's a good-natured kid, He really is. What's funny is it's usually those big guys that are, it's like, what's really surprised me is I've known like 3 big guys, tall and just big people. And they all say that, everybody's always afraid of me. And it's like, yeah. And it's like,
Huh.
I think that's funny because like I'm not a mean person, but it's like everybody's like, oh, I don't want to fuck with him. Yeah. The big guy, it's like,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Because he was telling me, Herman was telling me that he was in the hallway and this kid pushed him, and Herman said, "You want to do that?" And he said, "I was getting ready to hit him, Grandpa," and he goes, "No, no, 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 no." So I was like, shit. I said, well, don't, then
Yeah.
don't, because he obviously knew it was gonna hurt. Some hurt was coming. Yeah. Just a little bit of, like I tried to tell him, he knows how to throw a punch, which, a lot of people, like he laughs at his friend because he tells me how when he fights, he's like, like this and and whatever, I don't know, but
Yeah.
he just laughs at it. And that's why it's like I just told him, it's like they don't know what you know. He has no experience in that. That's what I wanted for them, especially my granddaughter. She likes to beat up the punching bag too. I want them to be able to defend themselves.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, especially my granddaughter. Now they say there's a serial killer. They marked it on the map over here.
Oh,
We live in a small community with lots of redwoods, so and a giant
well,
ocean.
yeah,
And
yeah.
anyways, and I know that some psychos, they do like to hunt on the reservations. I know that sounds kooky, but it's true. I mean, if you ever known about that Native Americans are like targeted for, they target them. There are a lot of underreported, and you know, I'm just mention that
Yeah.
she's not
Good know that.
native. And it looks like, because they found the bodies, it looks like it's on 101. You know, we live on 101. Not on 101, but 101's our artery.
Yeah.
Anyway. Blah, 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 blah.
I hear you.
Yeah. One of the puzzling things is self getting out of self to me. It's like part of me knows the body isn't, I know the body's temporary.
Yeah.
You know, it's finite, right?
Yeah.
So it's this self thing. It's like, how does self get out of self? So am I actually identifying body as self? Is that this is the dialogue that's happening? You know, I'm trying to explain to with
Yeah.
mom and this
Okay.
person.
Yeah.
And you know, I just hear these things, you know, the seed of the self, getting self out of self. It's like, well, who the fuck is self?
You're not.
You know, I
You're
know, I
neither.
know these things, huh?
You're neither of them. Yeah.
I know that, you know, supposedly I'm not, you know, I have vision, but I guess the
Yeah.
person who's seeing isn't real, right? Is that correct? I mean, that's the understanding of the teaching or explanation of what's happening, of the happening, apparent happening.
You don't have to use those eyes of the body mind to be able to envision what is. What is beyond the body mind action figure. So if you think in terms, yeah.
So do you just live as the body then, and don't even worry about the spirit or the observer, so to speak?
You just continue on the same as you always have. The only thing that's different that changes is that you no longer self-identify with it. In other words, you're carrying it through life. Life's being lived through that body mind, but it's no longer identified as that, as a self, as an individual, as a person with its own life and its own birth certificate and everything that's attributed to itself. And its personifications, its personality, its habits, things that it knows, all that knowing. Just drop all of that. Yeah.
Would you say consciousness has no personality? Would that be a fair statement or not?
Consciousness and personality, those are two different things. The personality has to do with actions that a body mind takes.
Right. Okay.
But consciousness is just the platform for thinking or for thoughts to be carried over, carried on.
So
Thoughts
in the
are carried on
wheel,
by consciousness. That's why to be cognizant is to be conscious. Consciousness and cognizant
so
of what you're
Shiva,
thinking about. Yeah.
Shiva would be consciousness then, right? In that picture,
In
in
that
that
respect,
spirit.
yeah. In that arena, Shiva
Yeah.
is conscious. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Shiva is
just trying
definitely
to
conscious.
find
Oh yeah.
I guess
Uh-huh.
that's what I just said. I'm trying to find. Hello,
Yeah.
secret. How you doing?
Shiva is consciousness. It's going to keep taking consciousness and try to get you to know all about that. Get you to know all about yourself, and it wants you to make proclamations to proclaim that you know what you're thinking about, what you know, and that's all it's going to focus on. It's going to keep trying to convince you of that. It's going to keep trying to fool you, convince you of that, and it's going to
Probably going on
it's
right
going
now.
to turn it up. It's going to turn it up a notch if it finds you trying to
Get
get away
out.
from it.
I know. I'm afraid
Yeah.
that's true, Richard. I
Yeah,
know that
but
sounds crazy.
yeah,
Crazier.
but still, there's a way of dropping it all. Just drop it all and escape from it, and it's just a matter of making that small leap of recognition. Small leap of recognition.
Yeah. When did you recognize it? Do you remember?
Yeah, when I was analyzing Dr. Thomas Campbell's one of his works, his papers, and it was the equivalent, the British equivalent to Thomas Campbell, which was trying to remember the other guy's name. It was Thomas Campbell and Randall or Randy or Andrew. Might have been Andrew. Well, anyway, they both had similar teachings or things that they were explaining, and it was that very moment somehow it clicked, where I recognized neither of them are true, and if neither are true, then that means that, and if I'm and what I'm listening to, if I recognize that that's not true, then that means it doesn't matter what I believe anymore. It doesn't matter what I think or believe. And then when I said that, that's when it just somehow dropped, and it was just all of a sudden there's just this expanse of awareness just kept going, and it wouldn't stop, just kept going, and then it was a recognition. I recognized, oh, I'm not that. I'm none of those things. I've never been that person with that birth certificate and that all that knowledge that I was trying to amass and trying to collect, and information, and all of that dropped. I just let it all go, and then it just revealed itself that it's beyond all of that. It's beyond anything that the self-conjured self could conjure up. It's beyond all its conjurings. Then when I recognized that, then it settled. Then it didn't have anything to think about anymore, because I wouldn't give it any attention anymore. In other words, it stopped. It's as though the chatter quit all of a sudden. It's a lot more quieter. It's very, very quiet and still. It's quiet and still now. where I look around and I don't have a thought about anything anymore. I don't have actually no inkling whatsoever, no opinion. In other words, you'll also find that opinions drop as well. It's as though they never even existed. All the opinions that you may have taken uh, about something being too hot or too cold or to this way or that way or some other way, all those ways are dropped. And once that happened, then it settled and it never came back. That sense of a separate self never ever returned. And I recognized that all of it was fictitious. All of it was just, it was a story. All of it was a story that did not happen. So I look back on all of it and I recognize that. I have all these thoughts and ideas. They all slipped away. And now it's like, it's as though it's a clean slate now. It's as though I look back on the past and it's not really there. There's images and pictures of faces and things like that, but there's no identification that goes along with all those different faces. And so I kind of look forward to the future. I don't really look into the future or anticipate it. I just notice more that the possibilities are endless to move, not necessarily move anything towards the future, but my attention span is in the present, is in the now. It's always it's always in the now. And I have no concerns of the past, yesterday, and I have no concerns of the future. It's always now. And I'm living right here in this nowness of the now. And recognizing that is so very peaceful. It's a peace that surpasses all understanding. And that is what this was trying to speak of. This message was trying to speak of that peace that surpasses all understanding. That's what this is. This message is about that. It's about that peace. And nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. It's just resting in that peace. And since it's resting in that peace, that transition, when it leaves this world, when it's ready to pass away, when it's ready to cross over, when it's ready to transition, it'll be such a smooth transition to that which is unknowable. But whatever is unknowable and is beyond this conscious awakened state, whatever awaits us has to be miraculous. It has to be spectacular. It must be, because this temporal temporariness is not it's not a finality. This is not the final resting place, so to speak. It's not a resting place. It's going to be the next. There's a next after this, but we don't know what it is. That's the mystery. And it's better that way, I would say. It's better to be surprised.
Yeah, where would be the fun in that, right?
Yeah.
No mystery left at all.
Right. It's better to have that mystery.
Yes.
It's a good thing that it's that way. I wouldn't want to know what's in store. I don't want to know. I want to wait, be surprised.
Yes, sir.
And so, yeah. And so there it is. So I continue to go on. Yeah. don't really even have to anticipate tomorrow. Just the next moment. That moment passes, and then take another moment. Just take it all in stride. Life as it unfolds, just take it in stride. And that's good enough. Yeah, it has to be enough.
Huh?
Sooner or later, enough has to be enough.
Yes, sir. Okay. You know, I've heard some people ask questions like, basically, I think that the idea of the loss of an ego would mean that there's no body. So once they lose their identity, the I, the self, whatever it is, or not the self, not quite sure. I'm still trapped there in that spot. Don't know, at least there's a feeling of not knowing. And I can't identify which is which. I know you
Drop
are
both.
What?
Drop both. Drop both of it. Drop the need to know and the, you're talking about knowing
I know.
and need to know. Drop both. What are you left with? There's nobody that needs to know anything like that. That's what you're left with. So you're nobody that needs to know anything that pertains to that. You are. You're nobody that doesn't need to know. So if you drop all these knowings and need to know, drop them all. What are you left with? You're still there. You're still there. You haven't disappeared. You're still going to be there.
Still here.
But you're just not going to be an individual anymore. You're not going to be William anymore. William, there's a story of William. Yeah, sure there is. But you won't be William anymore.
Because William can't come in.
Well, William's a fictitious story.
That's
It's like
crazy.
Richard's a fictitious story. But William is a story. Once you recognize that you're the story, but you're not necessarily, you're not even that narrator that's narrating the story about William.
Not even the narrator?
You recognize that. You recognize that too. Recognize you're not the narrator.
Mm.
What are you left with? You're neither the narrator, or are you providing any more knowing? Are you providing more knowing for William? If you're still providing knowing for William, then you still have yet to recognize that. To recognize that is what you're doing. That is what you're doing. You're still holding on to knowing that way, in that fashion.
It feels like it's changed the idea of what knowing was believed to be. If that makes sense. Like it was reconvinced that it was something else, a knowing of something else. Nah. You know what I'm saying?
Knowing is what?
I can't even fucking keep it together no more. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, you can. That's all right.
I don't know. It's all blank now. Don't matter. being, I guess that's just it, huh? Just whatever it is. It's all that's left after everything else is gone, right? Just being there, being.
Yeah.
Then I guess however it's dealt with is how it unfolds. I mean, whatever arises when it's dealt with
That's
is
true.
how it'll
Yeah.
unfold.
How to unfold, right? Exactly. However things arise. Whatever's meant to be will be. Whatever happens of its own accord. And we're okay with that.
Okay.
You noticing the thoughts arise.
Huh?
Are you noticing any more thoughts that are trying to
There was one
arise?
for a
Yeah.
second.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember what it is now, though.
Yeah. So you were going to entertain it, but I distracted you, see? Yeah. If you're going to entertain a thought, it's going to be an important thought that you won't forget.
Yes, that's
It
right.
needs to be entertained.
Yes.
If a thought needs to be entertained and you need to speak it, you need to say it and get it out in the open, and we'll tackle that one.
Yeah.
We'll tackle it and we'll see how that goes. And that's usually how it's dealt with.
Yes.
These thoughts that arise that way, keep trying to rise. You deal with them, knock them down, keep knocking them down, and then eventually that conjured self might give. It might. It all depends. But sooner or later, it will. It will eventually give in and say, "Okay, that's it." I don't. I know. I really not. I'm not real. I'm not. I don't have a life of my own. I admit it. Okay, but you're really going to mean it, though. I mean, it's not just saying it.
Yes, I
It's
won't say
really.
it if I don't mean it.
Yeah. It's really going. You're really going to mean it, and you will know. Oh, you will definitely know when it
Right.
happens. If it does happen, if it happens, and that sense of a separate self drops, oh, you will definitely. You'll know it, and then you'll say, now I see. Now I see what you've been saying all along.
Yeah.
That I'm not real. I don't have a life of my own, and
Dead people
it's just a
everywhere.
fictitious story. It's a fictitious story, and
Oh
yeah,
shit.
all those things that have been recognized that way.
You know what's
All those things.
amazing is
Mhm.
the idea of like Emerson when he was saying all I see is dead people. And I think I understand his perspective when he says it, but in the same way, I can't imagine because I don't believe him to be a liar, right? I don't think he's the type of person that would lie, like, intentionally lying. I mean, in other words, what I'm saying is to have to sit and be Emerson, right? And to be able to say that and know it, that
Yeah.
I really feel like, these are all shadows or dead people or whatever is the correct term, nobody there to actually
Yeah.
say that and feel that. And
hmm
in some sense know it enough to say it,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
mean,
You will.
you have to
It-
have a knowing of
it-
some sort.
oh yeah. It's a type of annoying, but it's not really annoying. It's a
And that
recognition, but it's not annoying. Yeah.
and that's where my head is maybe that's where it's wrong too, is
You're trying to know it, but you're not
I'm,
recognizing it.
I guess I'm not really seeking it from, well, it's a different Buddhas, I guess. I'm trying to see it from Emerson's view and from Paul's view and Richard's view, and I'm seeking the Buddha through other Buddhas. Yes, I don't know
It
how to
could
say
be,
that.
but it's
'Cause-
just recognizing. It's just
yeah.
a simple crossover into a recognition. Once it's recognized,
Is it
you can't go
tiresome?
back.
Is it
No,
tiresome trying to
not at all.
deal with
No.
my crazy,
Mm,
unawakened, for lack of a better
no, because I know it's not real.
word?
I know it's all unreal. No matter what you say, that's supporting a separate sense of self.
See,
I
and
already
then
recognize it. It's already recognized. Yeah.
there's this other part is, if there's nothing to
Uh-huh.
know and there's nothing to learn, then that would
Yeah.
suggest there'd be a suggestion that if I don't need to know and there's nothing to learn, then I already know it. And I already am it. And if I'm already am it, how come I wouldn't recognize it? Right? How that's the thought. How is
That's
it not
entertaining the thought, but you're just
recognized?
entertaining the thought. That's all you're doing. But just let it go though.
Okay.
Let all those entertained thoughts go and then recognize. And then once all those fall away, then you realize you didn't have to. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to know any of it. You just
True.
drop it all. You don't have to know none of it. None of it has to be known. Because all it is and everything is unreal. It's unknowable.
Hmm.
So if that's the case, it doesn't have to be known. So then the seeking stops. And the thoughts stop, everything stops. The thinking of the next thing for me or for you, all that drops. Then there's no longer any more entertaining those kind of ideas. They no longer spring up. They lose traction. There's no longer, it's no longer being thought about. You're no longer giving it any more energy. You don't have to give it energy, because if you keep giving it your own energy, then you're going to keep giving it attention, and it's going to keep developing and into more knowings, into different types of knowings.
Yes. It immediately went there when you spoke a bit.
See? So if you just drop all those knowings and recognize none of that needs to be known, then you'll recognize. But still, it just all depends.
It persists, but still it persists.
If that's okay. I mean, if that's what's happening there.
Yes, it's persisting for some reason.
It is a persistent thing though. The self-conjured self, self-conjured self keeps conjuring. It keeps conjuring more things to know, more things to talk about, more things to look forward to. That's all it knows, and it continues on that way.
Yes, it did.
If it's doing that, yeah, if it's self-conjuring, that's what it's doing. Conjuring more ideas, but that you just got to try to figure out a way to shut off that conjuring, to shut it all off, and go into unknowing. Just go into not knowing any of it anymore. I don't know any of that anymore. I don't recognize it. I don't self-identify with it.
Hmm.
If you don't self-identify with it, then it never mattered. None of it mattered.
You know, I had
And you'll reach.
amnesia once.
Yeah, yeah.
It was quite interesting. Just I kept asking the same question over and over again. People got mad with me, annoyed. You know that? I jumped out of a car when I was 17,
Uh-huh.
and I had amnesia. And the first, I guess, waking up to the non, I just kept asking the same question over and over again. Is what they said. I don't remember. First time I remember is when they got mad at me and I was like, wow. I think I was taken aback by the attitude. It's like,
Yeah.
you've asked that, the person I asked this. And I didn't know my wife's name. I just knew I was married. I didn't know lots of bits, pieces were missing. I don't know why that's probably not important at all. Just another part of the story, but
Yeah, it is. It's important.
yeah.
Now I'm getting to know. Getting to know about that. Yeah. I'm becoming acquainted
Yeah.
with what is keeping William. What's keeping you maintaining that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot probably, and nothing at the same time, right?
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah. That's all
swirling
right.
there.
Yeah, it's swirling, but it won't swirl. Once you drop it off, once you drop it and realize there's nothing swirling up there.
That
There's anything
reminded me
swirling.
of a joke, man. There's
It's a
nothing.
fictitious swirl. It's a fictitious swirl. You just think it is, but it's not. It's not happening. You just think it is. Think it's happening, but it's not.
See,
All these thoughts conjuring. Yeah.
this is where the Course in Miracles keeps popping up
Uh-huh.
whenever people say that. I
That's
remember
right.
a practice where they basically wanted you to acknowledge that this isn't real. None of it's real. I found that I find that and for lack of a better word, an echo. It's like all these echoes of so-called truths, of it's like the same message being, I'm hearing it not just in non-duality, but in the world. It's in the illusionary world that exists, I guess. Really, because it's the same message. It's not the same message, but there's echoes, for lack of a better word, of things. I was just imagining of your place on this earth. Thinking about that,
Yeah.
looking at it from that outside the perspective. No reason. Just thought that was fun.
It's very quiet here.
Your
Extremely.
house?
Oh yeah, very quiet. You don't hear tweeting.
You can hear it over there? I'm
Oh yeah, I
sorry.
can hear them. No,
Is
no,
my
it's
door
okay.
closed? Oh,
I like hearing the parakeets.
it's very
I like
noisy.
no, I like hearing the parakeets. Reminds me of my grandma's house. My grandma had parakeets.
I don't focus on it unless I do. But I try to hear everything, try to be present to the happening, I guess, then I hear everything. And strangely enough, it seems like when I try to hear everything, things get quiet. Isn't that an odd thing? You ever notice that? No?
What's that? Notice what?
I
Notice
said
what?
when you try to, like, at least it seems like sometimes, like when I try to pay attention to all that's going on,
Oh,
there's a certain quietness seems to like
yeah.
happen. Like, I don't know. It's like you focus your, well, it's not undivided, or it is undivided attention, because if you're just on everything, it's undivided. But yeah, and just taking all that in, sometimes it seems like there's this silence that comes about. And I was wondering if that's because, did you notice the birds got quiet?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. But you can get underneath it all.
I don't know. I just saying that the focus is, it's like it seems to go, I don't know.
But you
But
can. You could go underneath
mm,
all of those ideas and those expectations that you have of trying to focus
see,
on what you're referring to. Say that's undivided or it's divided.
right.
Just drop divided or undivided. Just try to get underneath it all.
Mm,
And if you get underneath all of that, then you recognize, well, there isn't any particular way that I have to be. I'm just simply allowing whatever unfolds to appear as it appears, because it's going to appear anyway. So once you recognize that whatever's going to appear is going to appear as it appears, but it apparently continue to apparently appear, then it will. And then you'll recognize it. Then it'll become more quiet. And then you recognize it. And then the quietness expands. In other words, it gives you more room to entertain other new ideas that you hadn't entertained before. The reason why you have more room now is because you quieted the mind. The mind's no longer concerned about tomorrow, not concerned about the past. It's going to focus in the now. And it focuses on the now. That's what's really happening, what's going on now. Because it's happening already. It's apparently appearing to happen now. And if it is, that's it. That's it right there. Just focus on that. Focus on it, and then it eventually becomes second nature. And then you'll notice you don't even have to entertain ideas anymore. You try to bring up ideas, and then you'll notice, wow, it's a lot quieter now in your head, in your mind. Now, it's not your mind, it's not yours. That's why it's more quiet. You see, it's kind of a paradox there. It's a paradox. The reason why it's so quiet is because you're no longer listening to that mind. You see, you're not listening to it anymore because it's not you. It never was you. So since it never was you, you're not trying to listen to it anymore. It's not narrating the story for you. Then you recognize it's kind of it's almost like a new thing. It's a newness. It's kind of a shift almost. It's almost sort of like a shift where you shift into your own awareness, your own recognition. But it's not a knowing. It's no longer a knowing. It's just a recognition. And you think recognizing and knowing is the same, but it's not. Knowing and recognition are two different things. Recognition is beyond knowing. Recognition is tied in with that which is finitely appearing.
Would that be close to intuitiveness? Would you say?
In a sense, it's kind of intuitive.
Yeah.
But that's intuition, which is part of the intellect, which is consciousness, is again related to that. because that'll try to get you back in there. It's going to try to get you to intellectualize. So, well, if I intuitively know that, oh, see, that it's getting into intuitively knowing. So if you try to intuitively, see, if you try to
I
intuitively know,
get it.
yeah, if you try to intuitively know, it's not intellectual, it's not intuitive. It's just beyond that. It's beyond that. It's just a recognition. Recognition that I'm not that. I'm not that intellectualizes. I'm not that intuitively thinks it knows. See? It intuitively thinks it knows, but not quite. So it neither intuitively, neither intellectually, and philosophical, and all of those other ideas that are being conjured, is trying to throw all these things to you. See, it's still trying to get you to think, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. It could be that. It could be this. No, it's none of those things.
I was actually recognizing the loss of interest in theology and some of that.
Yeah, right. When you, yeah, when you recognize
there was a
that you don't
knowing
need
in there. There was a
yeah, you
knowing.
don't have to. Yeah, there's a lot of knowing involved with that. You don't have to know any of it. You don't have to know about astrology. You don't have to know about philosophy, religion, spirituality, all of that. All of that, you don't have to know it. You don't. It doesn't have to be practiced. It doesn't have to be known. For you to simply be, peacefully be, and finding that peace that surpasses all understanding. Surpasses all understanding, and understanding is knowing. So if it surpasses all understanding and knowing, then that's it. That's what you want. That's what you yearn for. You yearn for that. You yearn for that peace that surpasses all understanding. That surpasses, it really does. It surpasses all knowing. And since it does, then all the knowing is no longer necessary. Since it's no longer necessary, it's a lot quieter in the mind. The mind's no longer entertaining all those ideas. I'm gonna go get me some more water.
Okay, I'm
I'll
gonna
be
get
right
a fresh cup of coffee. Did you want to take a break or just keep going, Richard?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm gonna take a break now by getting the water.
Oh, okay. All right, no problem.
All right. Yeah.
What's going on there? I gotta get my jacket on cold. Wow. Looks like somebody was murdered down here. There's another suspect case of ay, 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 ay. I'm here.
Yep.
I'm just out of shot at the moment.
Huh.
I'm smoking something. I feel funny smoking, I don't know why it's
Yeah.
different.
That's all right.
See, when I was into crystal balls,
Yeah. Oh, cool.
red crystal ball.
Yeah.
Crash!
Nice.
No.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought that because they used to talk about
Uh-huh.
that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just pretty though, really.
It is.
Love a crystal or glass. Yes, sir. One more. Yeah. It's hard to separate, my body from myself. It's just been through the fucking ringer, but the same way, I feel like I do have a. Who's that? I do feel like there's an ability that to recognize that the body isn't me, or at least all of me,
Uh-huh.
But in the same way, me, whatever. I'm gonna speak in a non-dual way, I guess, if you could say. Most of the time, I do, but it's just hard because I don't know if it's hard, but I was hearing somebody talk about it too. I just don't remember exactly. I know it's just the body, and I just have lots of reminders that this is the dwelling. Yeah, I mean this. There's lots of pain in this being.
Yeah, but that's not the final dwelling now.
I do know that.
It's temporary.
I've had,
Yeah.
whether it's part of just my story.
Yeah.
I've had experiences that at least allow the ability to question that.
Yeah, that's true.
So I can at least question and have some amount of confidence that whether it's illusion, a dream, or whatever, that and everything that I've learned has not actually contradicted the lack of a better word experience, whatever happened, other than the fact that it didn't happen and it's a story and because it's perceived and categorized by this creature. This body mind action figure has taken hold of it and manipulated it and twisted it and put it in all kinds of different places and dug its fingers in it in so many ways that it no longer basically exists. It's been contaminated in some way, infected. So, but whatever, but there's still a sense of, like I said, there's that lingering something. There's a lingering somethingness. And yeah. And I know that'll probably be the last thing that's cut off, or at least the next.
It might be. it might be the last thing, but I tell you what, that lingering, there may still be lingering there.
Mm,
If it's recognized that that's the temporal temporariness, that may be it right there. Just recognize that this body mind, although it apparently appears to be real, that too is temporary.
yeah, and the
That too will
only,
pass. Yep.
and then the only, that's like the second only I've said in a row now. There's a lot of onlys. It's like, I think only means
okay.
one, but whatever. If we want to argue with
right.
myself later.
No, it's okay.
I'm such a, boy, that's some good stuff.
No,
Um,
that's all right.
no, I feel better though. At least I'm not in pain. The body's not hurting. Yeah, dude, and that seems to be. I do recognize there's a body, so I know that much. Like I said, it's just that part, and then I'm afraid that when the mind or whatever. What's up, little homie?
I'm going to Curtis's house.
Are you telling me? Huh?
No, I was asking you, but
Oh, it sounds like a telling.
God.
oh, also, did you know I'm way better at football than Jace?
Is that because you're?
What?
Huh? I did not.
Oh, I know. I know you said.
He's better at football than his friend Jace. He's better at basketball than his friend Jace.
No, Jason said.
Yeah.
Oh.
Basketball.
Are you better at fighting?
Well, obviously, Jason's like a toothpick.
Yeah, I was talking about you and your little boxing.
That's also why I'm better at football, because he's also a little toothpick.
Tall and skinny.
I was saying he could be a wide receiver, but he was like, "No, my parents said I can't play football."
How tall is Jace?
6'1".
See?
He has shoes.
What is he, 14, 15?
Jason's
Yeah.
15 years old and 6'1". I'm 51 years old and I'm 5'1". Something like that. I don't know exactly. Okay. So you're better than Jason football?
Oh, and I'm already talking to a new girl.
Oh, he's got a new girl. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Now this is where the conversation gets serious.
Curtis.
Oh, what? What are you leaving for? We're just, hey, don't do that to my curtain.
I'm just saying, it might be.
I'm just saying you're putting wrinkles and crinkles in it.
Crinkles.
And wrinkles. Crinkles and wrinkles. Not just wrinkles, crinkles too. It's twice as bad. Oh, it's so silliness.
Oh, you want to know what my classes are for next semester?
That'd be wonderful. I know, Hmong, English, math.
Nope,
Yes.
not in that order.
I didn't. Oh, order. Okay. Tell me the order,
So I have
grandson.
Hmong first period.
Yes.
I got freshman seminar with Max second period.
With Max. What is with Max?
Means he is in the class also. And then I have English with Max also.
Oh man, don't be a fool just because your fool friend is there. Right?
There's only one thing I gotta say that'll make it sound good. This way, I won't ever want to ditch that class.
That's a good thing. I'm like, come on, Richard, back me up. Okay.
Oh, and then this new girl that I'm talking to, I have fourth period with her.
Fourth. Well, what is she? Got white hair, blonde hair,
No,
Black
she has
hair?
black hair.
brown eyes?
Yeah,
Is she of Mexican descent?
yeah.
He's got a thing for Mexican.
I told Jace my type is. It's just because me and Jace last night. I asked him. I was like, Jace, what's your typing girl? He was like white hair. He was like white skin and like brown hair or blonde and blue eyes. I was like, that's almost completely opposite to mine.
Needs to go for Ashley.
Grandpa, no one really wants Ashley.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. She got cuckoo. Such a pretty girl. Such a beautiful girl.
Oh, they gave me
Ashley.
Ramsey again.
Who's Ramsey?
My first period, or my old first period teacher.
Oh, your art teacher that you don't like?
No, that's Hank. Hank was my second period.
Well, I already told you about that. You need to do that. Work over that. Deal with it. And that starts when? Monday?
Yep, next week.
Nice.
I know what coach's classes are too.
Oh,
She has integrated math 1B with Stefanik.
sister passed her math class.
She did.
She got
She was in a math
almost
class.
an A on her finals. Just thought I'd rub that in your face.
If I fell asleep during my finals.
Oh, don't make excuses.
No, I'm being honest. I was so tired. And then
From what? You
Not
almost
sleeping.
said,
not sleeping.
I was so tired from.
Not sleeping. That's what I was tired from.
Mm.
Oh, and these are coach's periods. I was like, I don't have these classes.
So you're going to Curtis's and he's bringing you back?
Yes. And I'm assuming Ashley hasn't hung out with anyone in a while. All her friends kind of left her.
Yeah, they took a video of this girl, Ashley, I was telling you about, Richard, or
Yeah.
mentioned. I don't know if that's exactly telling you, but one of her mom's, what do you call him, friend? It's Joe, your
Yeah.
friend? Joe's friend,
No, my friend Joe's girlfriend.
his friend's Joe's girlfriend. That doesn't sound right either, German. His friend's Joe's girlfriend. Anyways,
The
Joe's
same-
girlfriend, Herman's friend Joe's girlfriend, beat up. Did that sound right? Beat up his friend. She was his friend from kindergarten. Such a pretty girl, blonde girl with blue eyes, and she's really a pretty girl. But anyways, they beat her up and took a video of it. I was so pissed off, sitting there watching her lay on the floor, curled up in a ball. Just really pissed me off. Still pisses me off. To me, that's worse than getting beat up.
It's just a school fight, man. But there's been,
You know?
there's been a worse.
Yeah.
I said to me, they have a different opinion. It's their generation. They think it's nothing. But I think having a video of you being beat up on fucking forever is worse. I mean, unless you're like in a ring and you like
No,
getting
the
beat
cops
up.
the cops made them get rid of all the videos. Ashley's grandma.
No, she did do something about it.
Oh, no. If they even go near Ashley again, they're going to jail.
Good. That's what I said. I wouldn't have taken that lightly.
Because Ashley told her grandma that they just dumped her for no reason.
Well, they didn't have a legitimate reason.
Yes, they did.
She didn't hit anybody.
Ashley got one of their friends locked up.
That's not touching anybody. We can debate that later. Yeah.
You know, a TA in one of my classes called me. He said I got clown feet
Clown feet. Because your feet are too big?
because they don't match the proportion of my body.
Are you sure your feet are in there?
I'm pretty sure.
Are they in there? Too big? Your shoes too big?
They're too small. That's why my feet made them start ripping.
Oh.
No, that's not why. I don't know how. And then Max was like, dude, Converse like the most indestructible shoe ever. I was like, I've had these for like, I got these a while ago. Like whenever school started.
You know where Richard lives?
England.
England. That's where Richard lives. England. Boring. Well, I think that's pretty exciting. He gets to go on the wrong side of the road. Oh, shit.
I just won cup pong 2 rounds.
Oh yeah.
It's like beer pong, but they don't want to say beer pong, so they say cup pong.
Well, the beer is only the part that you drink.
I guess that's true. And it's just cups if you're not.
Right? You call it soda pong if you wanted.
Well, no, it's,
You could if you use soda.
but this is like an online game.
Well, it's pong.
No, pong is the computer game.
Is it hot outside, Jermaine?
It was pretty hot.
It was warm this morning. I couldn't
It was
believe
like
it.
70 degrees.
The ocean was so calm it looked like a lake today. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Yeah. It was hot too. I mean, for January. For January.
Oh, hold up. You want to see a picture of the new girl that I'm talking to?
Okay. Let's see her.
I think she's better looking than me.
You know, when I was on Facebook, I friended this chick. I got a friend request from this very pretty girl, right? And I accepted it. And my grandson goes, "Grandpa, how come you have a picture of a porn star?" I said, I said she was pretty. I guess that makes sense why she wanted to be my friend. Where's this picture?
Hold on.
He's got to search Google. Just
No.
joking. Just joking. And I hope you know Richard works for the media company, so if it's a fake picture, he's gonna know.
He lives in the UK.
They know everything. MI6 or MI something. They call him, you know. Isn't it over there in London though? Don't they like they're more free with their like UFO stuff? It's not like a big like government secret. They're not like it was over here.
Uh-huh.
Some of the newest,
We have Wiltshire, where all the crop circles are going on. Yeah.
Ever since those people said that they did it with that little thing, I kind of like that satisfied my curiosity.
No way.
Yeah, it's like you don't believe
A
it?
bunch of old men with boards. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's very logical. It's just, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Huh?
Not when it happens for a few seconds, and then there's a whole freaking three football field links.
There's video evidence of that? Is what you're saying?
Yep. Uh-huh. So that's definitely not a bunch of guys.
Sit up straight. Look at you. You should see the video of how you're like in a fetal position. You're like curled up, man. Look at that. So there's no girl.
I'm
just as
trying
I
to find a
suspected.
picture of her.
Oh man, you're sad, homie. Come over here touting your girl power or whatever.
There's pictures she took on my phone, but like, let me find. I might have deleted them actually.
Mm-hmm.
Did I? That's a picture of her. That's a picture of her, but I don't have any better pictures.
Oh, that looks like your sister.
Quit saying that. You and Mom have said that twice.
Show Richard.
No,
Why?
I don't know him.
Well, that's how you get to know him. You know him now. Okay, there's no picture of a girl. That's clear. Making it up.
I showed you.
Well, I'm pretty sure that was yours.
I have another picture. Oh, but me and Haley, we were matching profile pictures on Instagram.
Oh,
It was this picture.
oh, what
Yeah.
is that?
Do you know who that is?
Obama?
No.
You and your daddy?
No.
George Bush?
You really don't know who that is?
I've never met him. It's not me.
I'll give you a hint. He was a politician, but he wasn't an American politician.
A Mexican president.
He's also not from Mexico. He's from Colombia.
Cuban.
The caucus.
Dukakis.
Nope, he's from Colombia.
Colombian drug lord, somebody.
Colombian drug lord.
I don't know. Why do I care about
Alright, who's
this?
a Colombian drug lord?
Why would I care about
Think about one.
I don't know any
You
drug
have to know
lords.
one.
Nope, I don't know
I'll
any.
show you another picture of him.
Pablo Escobar.
That was Pablo.
Okay.
That was our matching profile pictures. It was this one.
I thought you said your girlfriend,
It
not him.
was. No, he's dead. He's been dead for a while.
Oh
Do
goodness.
you know when they killed him?
This
they
makes
did a
no
whole-
sense to me.
No, me and my girlfriend, or my ex-girlfriend,
Mm.
we had a profile picture together.
Wow, you were just in a relationship with her so long you couldn't find her picture. Now she's your ex. You
No,
moved
that's
fast.
Haley. You want to see Haley? I have a picture of her. Why? Actually, I deleted them.
No, I'm just messing with you. Come on.
I'm pretty sure I deleted all the pictures of Haley.
Well, you missed me, huh, grandson? How was your basketball game?
We ended up playing football. Oh yeah, I did delete a bunch of pictures of Haley.
Oh, poor Haley.
What
His
you?
girlfriend broke up with him, Richard. Isn't that sad?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
See, he knows more about you than you think.
Hmm.
You're my grandson. Of course he does. He knows
See-
what I tell him anyway.
This was Haley. I deleted all the pictures of her though
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
because we broke up.
He said this is a picture of Haley. I deleted all the pictures.
They're in
of
my
her, though.
recently deleted.
Okay, well then they're not that gone.
Well, I haven't like fully deleted them.
So you had to read a book. I made him read a book. What was the name of the book? You don't remember, do you? Come on, remember.
Psychology and something.
The Psychology of Man.
That's what it was. It was a very, very boring book.
Yes. He didn't.
I did.
He would have loved it if he'd have really read it.
I did read it. I did.
I'm just messing. That's how he got his phone back, Richard.
Yeah.
He had to read that book. Yes.
Okay.
I was almost thinking about just saying, I'm not doing it.
No, I just kept your phone.
Yeah. Then I thought about it and I was like, it'd be probably be a better idea if I decided to do it.
Yeah. If you want your phone. Not, I could shut it off and don't have a bill. Save me some money.
Really?
Yep. Ain't free, honey.
Did you know Calvin went to a funeral?
No, I don't know what Calvin does.
Yeah, he went to a funeral.
Oh. Did you know that, Richard?
No,
Well, of course he went.
Well, how would he know any more than I? He's not my friend.
But you've met Calvin at least.
Doesn't talk to me.
Yes, he does.
No.
He says, all of my friends. All of my friends say that you are their favorite grandpa.
Oh. But you don't. That's the bad thing. See? See? Arrow to the heart. Arrow to the heart. I just
Because me and Calvin,
when he was little, they asked him who's his best friend. And he said his grandpa. I was like, oh, the teacher told me that. That's when he was in kindergarten. Now you ask him, he'll say, Max, somebody else. Oh, grandson.
Yeah,
It's all right. I forgive you.
they brought a shopping cart into school.
Huh?
Look at that's Max pushing it.
You guys are rotten then.
I wasn't with them.
Your friends are rotten then.
This was yesterday.
Where were you?
This was during lunch. I don't even remember. what I did
Detention.
there. I did have lunch detention, but she let me out like 5 minutes early. Or not. She gave me 5 minutes worth of lunch detention. It wasn't as fun as it normally is.
Yeah.
They took
Detention's not fun no more. It's sad.
I know. Kids used to always want to go to detention.
Just because they thought they were cool or something.
No, it was better than being in class. We'd get food. We'd be allowed to go on our phones. We'd be allowed to talk as loud as we want.
Well, that's just
And
dumb.
we'd be allowed to leave whenever we want.
That's not detention. That's like
Well, no, because
free time.
Miss
Not no.
Miss Ecker, the principal, told Miss Daniels to make it a place so kids don't ditch. She said she wanted to make a place so kids don't leave campus.
Yeah.
And that's what she did.
At least they get money for the kids being there. Then I guess nothing
But
else.
That's what they did.
Kind of disagree with the theology of that or
Well, no,
thinking.
They just didn't want kids as kids, so they were like, so she.
I know because they get money for the attendance of children. That's if you're not learning anything, that's the only logical, right, Richard? What other reason could it be? If they're not learning, and the school wants to keep them there no matter what, whether they're learning or not, it just sounds like they're in it to get the paycheck, the school's funding. You just don't understand all that because you're a child. You just think it's something torturous you have to go to. You don't understand.
No, like I said, B5 is fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it was.
You don't understand.
It was. Lunch detention sucked.
I'm sorry, grandson. I'm glad it's no fun no more. That's what detention's supposed to be. Not a fun time.
I know, but it was really not fun.
Good. What'd they do? Drop your phone off at the door?
They made me put it in a box.
Nice. That's the first start. Grab a book, sit
And
down, and have a read.
The
That's what I
principal
would
was
say.
in there, and it wasn't Miss Daniels.
Oh,
grabbed my
Miss
phone.
Eckert?
Yeah,
Oh,
Edgar.
I love her.
I hate her.
I think she's wonderful. I know the principal and the vice principal.
Oh my god.
I couldn't believe that we were at a party and it was so they're talking to the vice principal and then she's, oh yeah, I know him. Right? Yeah.
Oh, I've known her for a while.
Yeah, I didn't know that because she's friends with the family. I just didn't know that, where she worked.
She wasn't always the. I think her first year was the year that Concha was.
So, anyways, yeah.
But Miss Samples' first year was when she was a freshman, or when Concha was a freshman. At the high school, at least. She would still work at schools. Just she wasn't like.
I like the personalities. Mrs. Eckert, everyone thinks she's mean, but I understand her. She's just direct. She's got 1,000-something kids to wrestle.
No,
What?
only 500. She said Miss Daniels said that 500 kids were not or were
Only
absent
500 kids. I'm sorry.
because of quarantine.
Okay. So she's only got to keep track of 500 children.
She only really cares about the bad ones.
Oh, and just the bad ones.
Well, like those are like the ones that she really like.
Is it just a
Denial.
joke to me? Is it just sounds so funny? I mean, here he is. He says it with such sincerity, and I'm sitting here going, "It's gotta." You say it, and it seems
Grandpa,
so silly to
500
me.
kids for a school is not a lot. like,
Okay,
that's our
Jordan,
entire
We're on
school.
2 different pages.
Our entire
Is
school.
your friend here yet?
I'm not sure. I've been looking out for like 30
Oh
minutes.
man.
Actually, Samples helped me not get in trouble one time.
Oh, vice principal.
Well, pretty much, they were gonna suspend me, but Samples was like, just give them full day to suspend. Or no, they were gonna give me at home suspension. I was like, screw that, I'm just not. But that's stupid. So then samples are like, would you rather just have in school suspension?
I was informed that he's a little bit of a tyrant at school. He talks smack to his teachers and acts like a juvenile delinquent. I was surprised to hear that because I always think of him as such a good child. But apparently he's a little bit of a butthead at school. Yes, I'm looking at you through the mirror because otherwise I got to turn my whole body to look at you.
Okay, if you're talking about that Michael kid,
Nope,
oh,
I'm talking about in general. Disrespect to your teachers.
when have I ever disrespected a teacher?
Okay, there we go.
No, I'm serious.
I don't know. You tell me when.
I'm. When did you hear?
No, that's not how the conversation goes.
No, that was how my question was.
Well, I didn't ask you a question.
I did.
Well, I'm not answering your questions. I'm here to ask questions.
You just said you're not asking me questions.
I'm not answering or asking questions for you. Your man. Your man.
What?
Why are you treating your teachers disrespectful? That's
Which
the question.
teacher?
Which one? Pick one. Pick your art teacher.
That's probably the one that I'm the most.
Okay, well, why?
I just don't like his teacher. He's like
So you think you have the right to be disrespectful?
he's like a pedophile.
He's not a pedophile.
Grandpa,
Jesus.
he told the class to draw a picture of their body,
Oh my
Oh.
God.
and we're minors. I was just like, I think that's a little
So
weird.
your body is your penis, is what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's weird for the girls.
So you're saying girls are boobs and privates?
I'm just saying that I think it's a little weird because he was grading us on how like spot on they were. That's the weird question, or like that's the weird thing because he wanted us to draw.
If he said draw an anatomically correct
He said draw. He said
representation
draw.
of yourself, that would be inappropriate.
He said draw a picture of yourself as close as you can, and I'm gonna be grading it off the picture.
That could mean a portrait of.
No, but he said make sure it includes your.
What do they
full
call
body.
it? A bust? Just a bust picture? Come on,
Mhm.
your brain went somewhere it shouldn't have.
I
That's
just
all I'm
don't
saying.
like him.
Exactly. So you're making things.
No, I'm
Difficult.
not making things up. None of
Okay.
the kids in that class like him.
I don't know
Plus,
how to.
it
speak
just so
English.
happened to have a
nobody-
kid that I don't that I really that I almost fought. He was also in that class.
Okay.
No, but that kid's scared of me now.
Well, I don't feel anything, but I don't know what.
But did he write you a letter saying?
What are you worried about it for? You're starting to get worked up. Why don't you go beat up a punching bag or something?
Just did they say that I was disrespecting any of my teachers?
Who's they?
The school.
Maybe nobody said anything, and I was just fishing, and you just got all cuckoo for nothing. Huh. I think that might be closer to the truth.
I don't.
Just because you know you're being disrespectful then. You're being sent to detention. Doesn't take a genius to figure out something's going on.
I get sent. Everyone gets sent to detention.
Because they're probably disrespectful children.
No, for PE, he'll send you just for not dressing down.
Well, you went twice,
Well,
So-
I've been there quite a bit actually.
you're not helping my point. Anyways,
No, it's because I'm friends with the B5 lady, so I just go there and like she gives me food.
so in other words, you're crushing on the B5 lady. I'll let them know.
She's like 70.
Yeah, no, I don't care.
Actually, no. We had a girl in there asked her how old she was. She's 45. Jonathan. And she's a lot older than I thought. But still,
I don't
that's
know what
old.
to say, little German. Don't know what to say. Sit up straight. Say that. Sit up straight. Shit. If I have to sit up straight, yeah, look how much taller he is when he sits up straight. Tall kid. I can't even curl up because I got bars in my back. There you go. That's better. Just keep your spine straight. Work on that.
Oh, the football coach. This was like I just remembered this like back when football was like still a thing.
Yes.
He was checking out RPE class to see if there's any freshmen that he wants to like kind of recruit already.
Yeah.
I was one of them.
Yeah, probably except for your grades, right?
No, they didn't check grades. He was just
Yeah.
saying who was big enough.
Yeah, we'll work on the grades later.
He
Huh?
was just saying who he thinks should play football.
I thought same thing. You gonna try harder this semester?
Yeah.
I hope so. I told you, go to after school studies. I'll pick you up. I have to do is call and say you need to stay there. You go to the library.
The one thing is I already know Ramsey's not gonna like me.
Don't worry about it. Just focus on getting your work
Well, he
done.
already doesn't like me.
Come on. Then you start. Okay? You start being a better person. You don't have to engage with whatever kind of attitude people have.
No, I wouldn't talk to him. Like I would not say a single word in his class, and he'd just like not like me.
Well, maybe you need to find a different approach. Figure it out. There's going to be situations in life that you're going to come across somebody that's difficult like that. So
Did I
figure
tell
it out,
you
man.
that one time I was just eating a chocolate bar with Jace, and then Miss Samples thought that we were vaping?
Okay.
So what we did is because his class, we were walking to E7, which is like upper bound tutoring.
Did you hear what I said though about your teacher and how to approach it? Have a
Mhm.
better attitude. I mean, it doesn't matter how someone else is. You have to.
No, I know, but Miss Samples, she thought that me and Jace were like hitting vapes when we were just
I heard that.
eating chocolate.
Chocolate. Mhm.
It was like a long chocolate bar, and I put it like I went to go eat
Oh, she
it.
sees a lot of shit, so
I went to go eat it, but I bit it like this, and she was like, "Give it here, let me see it." So I didn't think she was talking to us, obviously, so I just kept on eating, and then she was like, "I said give it here," and Jace tapped me, and he was like, "Dude, she's talking to us." I was like, "What is she talking to us about?" And then she was like, "Oh, I thought that was a puff bar," and I was like,
puff bar.
"Yeah." You don't know what a puff bar is?
You ever heard of that, Richard? A puff bar?
Mm-mm.
See?
That's like the most common vape that the school finds.
See? And then you're telling me like I should be surprised that she suspected somebody eating candy on a puff bar that probably looks like something like a candy, right?
Mm-hmm. She thought we were both hitting puff bars.
Okay. Hey, where's my coffee? Oh, grab it. It's over there on
Have
the
you
counter.
not cooked?
It's right there. Do you watch football, Richard?
Yeah, sometimes.
No. He likes football.
Does the UK have like their own football team, like their own football league?
Mhm.
Really?
I thought it was just rugby. Oh, are you being smart when you say football? Are you talking soccer?
Soccer. That's football.
Well, real football.
Real football. That's funny. Anyways, real. What came first, Richard? It don't matter.
Oh.
But do they have the American style football over there, or is it just rugby?
Rugby.
Yeah. You know what rugby is? Emma?
It's like football, but it's like a way bigger ball.
And different. a
And
little
yeah,
bit
different rules, but like the ball is like football, but bigger. It's like
Don't they move in like a huddle? Kind of a
Yeah.
huddle kind of thing.
yeah, I don't know anything about rugby. Our school has a lacrosse team. I found that out.
I'm not sure I know what lacrosse is.
It's
Is that
like
where they hit
it's
that
like
ball.
a stick, and like it's like a metal ball, and like they like throw it to each other. I don't know. It's supposedly like really violent though.
I don't know.
I can't wait for football next year though.
Well, I hope you get to do it. No, this window.
Let me see if Curtis is even still coming because that was like 2 minutes ago.
Where did your friend go?
Jace went home.
Hmm.
Hey, are you guys still coming?
Yeah, we'll be there in a minute.
All right.
A minute.
We're for Dick right now.
Fort Dick.
All right.
That ain't a minute.
She doesn't live here, Grandpa. She doesn't know how close Fort Dick is. I used to think Fort Dick and Smith River were like right next to each other. I used to think it was like a minute drive just drive to Fort Dick. Which actually it kind of is.
You're gonna spend the night there?
No. He just said come up for the day.
Oh,
So I was like, yeah, sure, I guess.
it'll be fun. Warm up there. Should be. Might not be. I
hope
don't know.
it's not super hot. Last time I was up there was when the fires were. And that was like a really long time ago. That was like almost, that was summertime. I haven't gone up there since August. I could have gone with Grandpa George.
Hmm.
But none of my friends were awake. Evan was, but Evan's kind of boring to hang out with alone.
Evan. Oh. Mhm.
Little short ginger kid was cussing up the storm.
Yes, I know who it is now.
I still think it was so funny. After
Do you think
every
come back in 6 hours? 3.
Yes. Sure, Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry. That's why I was
Let's do
asking
that.
if you wanted earlier. Yeah. No
Let's
problem.
do that. Take a break and we'll come back at
Just-
3.
All right.
Yeah.
Send me a message or
It's 9 now.
oh damn, I'm sorry.
I give you 6 hours.
okay. Whenever you want. It's daylight my time. So if you want to sleep a few more hours, it's no problem too.
6 hours is fine. 6 is good enough.
Okay. I'll see you
Yeah.
7
At
o'clock
3.
in my time. All right.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Richard.
Okay, later. Okay, that's all right.
Mm.